They just have to. I just don't want to jump in the middle of that.
Zach Allegria.
We're ready when y'all are. Okay.
Fans, our Alcoa varsity cheerleaders.
Welcome into the David Abbey Carpet Game of the Week here on 94.3 Jack FM. I'm Heath Dunkel alongside Scott Dunkel, and we're getting ready to get the party started here at Alcoa High School. Scott, it was a huge night last Friday night as the Tornadoes got it done here at home in the 97th Battle of Pistol Creek.
That they did, Heath, but speaking of that, tornado weather here in Alcoa. You looked around everywhere else around the county, Knox in the region and all that, and they were getting some real activity as well there too. But a great game for Alcoa last week, defeating Maryville like they did in the second straight, third in the last 4 games.
Yeah, Alcoa 3-1 over the last 4 games against the Maryville Rebels. What a week it was. And one of the things, Scott, that I thought too is I was nervous coming into that game when it came to depth, because a 6A program versus this 4A program that really size-wise is more of a 3A program, right, and players that play both ways, how are they going to be able to really last throughout the ball game? I thought that cloudy weather cooled it down a little bit and really helped them be able to last maybe a little bit longer in the ball game. We saw some cramps certainly later in the game. Luckily, though, it really kind of went both ways, and so both teams had their own issues. They were able to figure them out. But you look at last week's win against the Maryville Rebels, the Tornadoes, 402 total yards of offense, 221 on the ground, 181 through the air. Number one, that was impressive, a really balanced attack on offense. But then the second thing that really stood out to me, Scott, let's talk about the defense. They held the Maryville Rebels to 290 total yards of offense, and especially what stood out there, only 55 rushing yards on the ground. So you're talking about the quarterback, you're talking about the running back, and you've got a Maryville quarterback who's very mobile. So the fact that they were able to keep that ground game in check was extremely impressive and kind of helped them come away with that victory.
That's right, Heath. You look at Will Jones, 222 yards in the air. The kid is very impressive. We knew that coming into the game. And still put a scare in Alcoa at the end of it, as he had 2 passes knocked away in the end zone there in the closing seconds. But, good luck to Will Jones for the rest of the season and Maryville as well, because he is a very talented quarterback and they're a very good team.
They certainly are. And so, Scott, now after we take care of the Maryville Rebels, we move on to week 2, and we face another 6A opponent in the Bearden Bulldogs. This is a team, Scott, that we faced a few times over the Alcoa record books. This will be the 5th all-time meeting between the two schools, and Alcoa so far has really run the table against the Bulldogs. And I take a look at tonight, I have a feeling we're going to see much of the same. But Scott, we're going to get a little bit more into that here in just a moment. Also, make sure you stay tuned not only throughout the ball game, but at halftime, as we've got a special, as always, Trevor's Tornado Trivia, brought to you by John Laycamp of State Farm. You don't want to miss it. Week 1, we had a good prize pack. We've got another one lined up this week that we can't wait to roll out to you. You'll want to stay tuned for that on all our social media platforms as we post it. And then the first one to answer across the social media platforms will win for the week. But right now, Scott, we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to bring on Colt the Bolt, our man at the Statistician who knows it all, who's going to give us his prediction of this ball game. But you're listening to 94.3 Jack FM. We'll be back in a moment. Yeah, I was just, in case we went there, I was like, hey, do you have, I know you usually have it, but I didn't see it pulled up, so I was just reminding in case we needed it to have the weather. There is that. Coulter, you are off mute.
I can't, okay.
You good?
Yeah.
Okay. There's one. I'm going to keep building. Perfect.
Updated this as well then the kick games that were played last night. Gottlieb was not the only game played last night.
I mean, yeah, I updated so.
Oh, I know. But I just added like in the area. Yeah.
Dad told me also it's Tau. Got it now. Yeah. Welcome back into the David Abbey Carpet Game of the Week. Heath Dunkel alongside Scott Dunkel. But here on the pregame show, we've got the man, the myth, the legend, Coulter Tao, to let us know his prediction of this ball game tonight. Coulter, what do you got?
First off, Heath, what an awesome game last week. I can't think of a better way to kick off the football season other than coming out week 1 and getting the win against our crosstown rivals. The Tornado rushing attack was dominant, just like I expected, and some of that was really due to the O-line, who consistently claimed ownership of the trenches and kept our quarterback clean. The defense was also stout for most of the night and really clamped down when they needed to. And new starting quarterback Thomas Manu had a phenomenal first game leading the offense. He really impressed me with his accurate passes and sort of his determination to always fight for those extra yards. Now, Heath, this week we play the Bearden Bulldogs, and honestly, I'm not expecting it to be quite the fight. I know it was a battle last year, but I think we'll see a much different Bulldog team on the field tonight. With Bearden losing their head football coach and several players transferring out of the program, I believe it may take them a season or two to sort of get back to that competitive level. But Heath, with all that being said, I want our Alcoa Tornadoes to come out, start fast, and keep their feet on the pedal. I have multiple players rushing for over 100 yards and Manu passing for 250 plus. Heath, I'm predicting that our Tornadoes win 38-17 in a landslide victory against the Bearden Bulldogs. And some of the players told me earlier in the week they have a goal of going undefeated this season, and 2-0 is a great way to start.
I love it. I love it. All right. That was Coulter Tao with a great prediction. Coulter, I love that. You and I talked before the game. That was one of the things I said is I had a feeling all week this was going to be a 3-touchdown or more ball game for the Tornadoes. Coulter hit it right on the head. And now, Scott, we get ourselves ready to bring in the start of the kickoff as both teams are making their way on the field here in the David Abbey Carpet Game of the Week. And it's time for our first Cadunza kickoff.
That it is, Heath, and Bearden will be receiving. Trying to see numbers down there, but just a bad angle for me to see who's down there at the moment. But Alcoa getting ready to kick off as Tyson's lining it up at the 40. Waiting for the referee to say, go ahead.
And Scott, I believe, Coulter and I were chit-chatting and going over the pregame stuff, but I believe if I saw the corner correctly, it did look like Alcoa won the toss and deferred to the second half. So that is why Bearden will receive to begin the game. And good luck for the Tornadoes, Scott. They won the toss last week, did the same thing. And that last week, doing that was really kind of pivotal in coming away with that victory.
Right, Heath, it was. You want to get your defense established, maybe get something good happening on the first drive, and get an opportunity for your offense to get down and get a quick score.
Well, Kyron Tyson getting himself ready. And speaking of Kyron Tyson, Scott, that young man who's now a senior showed last year he had ice in his veins as it was the final seconds of the Bearden Bulldog ball game where he hit a walk-off field goal as Bearden was leading by 1 to come away with the victory for the Tornadoes. An epic game at Bearden High School and one we certainly won't forget for a long time. This one was filtered around the 2. It is returnable to the 20, touch past the 20-yard line, and then slammed down to the turf. But on the return, there was a flag on the play.
And that return was from Tyler Timmons. He is a junior wide receiver for the Bulldogs. Looking to see what the referee is going to indicate here for the penalty. Looks like a block in the back on Bearden that's going to drop it back. Wait and let them mark it off here.
Well, and Scott, one of the things I think we're going to see tonight is we're going to see a lot of really kind of youth movement for the Bearden Bulldogs. This is a team that had some really talented clubs the last 2 years when we played them, and it was really close ball games. So you may be asking, okay, well, after playing so close the last 2 years, why are you predicting this game to be such a blowout? And it's not anything against Bearden. There was, unfortunately, a firing of the coach this offseason, and it led to really kind of an exodus from a lot of the talented players on that roster that went to different schools. You had a lot go to Anderson County. You got 1 or 2 go to Maryville. Alcoa got a couple as well. So really kind of in a rebuild mode with their new coach, Brad Taylor, who this is his second stint with the Bearden Bulldogs. And so I think the future is bright. One thing Coach Taylor is known for, Scott, is a player developer. You saw him do that at Bearden before. You saw him do it at Carnes for a long time as he led current Tennessee running back Deshaun Bishop, who was a big-time two-time Mr. Football player for Carnes High School play when he was coaching them. So it's going to take some time. He's going to get this program back to where it needs to be. But I think this season is going to be one where there's going to be a lot of youth and a lot of growth and some growing pains throughout the season.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a little bit different Bearden Bulldog team than we saw last year. As it looks like they marked it off, that ball is going to be at the 12-yard line, 1st and 10 for Bearden to get the game started. Not sure what we're waiting on here with the referees.
Yeah, unlike last week, Scott, no TV timeouts. Just looked like some confusion here.
It looks like a clock issue. The clock did not start because I'm watching them wind it down.
So getting that figured out, getting things going, and get ourselves ready for some football. So it looks like it's number 8, quarterback Aiden Thacker, the sophomore, 5'11", 180, who is going to take the reins for the Bulldogs tonight. He'll turn, he'll hand the football off, and right there, a wall of Tornadoes waiting for him. He's trying to stretch out the football and see if he can get a yard or two. I think they may give him 1, but that's about it. Good defense by the Tornadoes, and Scott will say, I think as he was trying to stretch it out, he fumbled the football. So
yeah, I was watching the coaching staff. They were all pointing like, that's our ball, that's our ball. Referees agree. Like I said, Heath, get that early start, get your defense to do something, and get you a good field position.
Well, just like that, one play by the Bearden Bulldog offense, and Scott, I said it a minute ago, growing pains here for the Bearden Bulldogs this season. We see it right there on play number 1 of the offense. So the Tornadoes come out on offense. Thomas Manu in at quarterback. Had a really good week in week 1 of his first time starting this season for the Alcoa Tornadoes. He's got Condis Cherry to his right in at running back to begin the game. He'll drop back. Cherry in pass protection. He'll throw it outside. A high ball, but climbing up and extending and making that catch was Jacobe Cooper. Jacobe Cooper, after kind of really lunging out to make that play, tackled after a gain of around 4. It'll bring up second down.
Yeah, Heath, Jacobe Cooper, your Print FX and the Farm Bureau player of the game last week.
Yeah, Jacobe Cooper, week 1, 5 receptions, had a touchdown. Also had a reverse play that went for a 30-yard rushing attempt as well that really set up the go-ahead victory touchdown for the Tornadoes. Second down, Manu sends a man in motion. He'll turn handoff to Condis Cherry up the middle. Cherry pushing Bulldogs backwards and eventually falls right before the end zone. They're going to down this one at the 1. So that is a 12-yard gain for Condis Cherry. And just like that, the Tornadoes quickly right back at it and lined up, ready to go as Bearden trying to rotate in some bigger players in the middle. And I look for Alcoa to do it again. They will. There's Cherry. Cherry up the middle. Did he extend over the line? They're going to say no, and he's just inches away from Pater.
Yeah, some big guys up there up front. Just was able to basically get a wall up there, Heath, and hold him from getting in there. But, yeah, Cherry's a good player to have in there. You may have to go to someone a little bigger if nothing else. But it looks like they're going to keep him in here and let him get that touchdown.
Well, I think Alcoa believes they can finally finish off the deal here. So there's Cherry on the carry. This time it's set up the middle. He'll bounce it to the outside. He'll walk into the maroon rectangle, and it is a touchdown for the Tornadoes. So a big-time play and a Delosier auction touchdown early in this game to put Alcoa in the lead. Now, Scott, before anything else happens, we do have some more laundry on the field. Let's see what the referees say.
We'll get the marker sorted out.
It's going to be unsportsmanlike conduct on Alcoa. Touchdown still counts.
Unsportsmanlike conduct against Alcoa.
I believe that will be assessed during the kickoff.
Well, and Scott, I think the player potentially it was on that maybe having a conversation is it looks like it was on Big Ton, the transfer from Bearden High School, and Coach Nix over on the sidelines having an in-depth conversation with him. And if you wonder, I think probably one of those things is probably just letting him know, hey, listen, I know this is your old team. I know there's a lot of emotions in this game, but if we're going to be a team that is going to make our way all the way through the season unscathed and win a state title, you have to be the team that is able to handle those emotions appropriately and control what you can control. So just reminding that young man, because we've all been there where emotions sometimes get too high and we make mistakes, but hopefully that young man learns from it as the game continues forward. So the touchdown is good. Here comes the extra point. There's the snap. It's down. The kick is up. The kick is doing. So Kyron Tyson up and in, and your score with 10:17 left to go in the first quarter. It is Alcoa 7, Bearden 0. Scott, we talked about Thomas Manu, who had a really good game last week for the Alcoa Tornadoes. He was 16 of 20, 80% passing, 181 yards. One of the things that was really impressive about that, too, he averaged a first down every pass, 11.3 yards per passing attempt. And then it was one of those games where early on, again, first start jitters, playing a team you used to play for, you saw some hesitancy, especially when it came to using his mobility. But as the game progressed, and you and I talked about it, it was, hey, you've got to just trust your instincts and get after it. And he started to do that, and you saw once he did that, it really opened up the offense.
Right, it did make it very difficult for Maryville when they were going after him because he's like Condis Cherry, very quick on his feet. Got a lot of those, for those old timers that remember, a lot of Barry Sanders type moves.
All right, so 10:17 left to go here in the first quarter, and now getting ready for the kickoff are the Tornadoes. We'll see what the Bearden Bulldogs are able to do here in just a moment. Kyron Tyson getting things set up and ready to go. Tyson looking both ways, making sure everyone is ready, and here he goes, getting ready to kick this off. Two players for Bearden back around the 20. They'll drop back to the 15, now back to the 11 and make the catch, and here they go on the return. Bouncing outside, breaking the tackle, getting to near the 40, and then escorted out of bounds towards the Bearden players on that sideline, and that was number 3 on the return, Tyler Tummins on the kickoff return. Had a chance this week, Scott, to talk to the broadcaster, Jay Lifford, for Bearden this week, and one of the players he mentioned was Tyler Tummins. Tyler Tummins, the brother of former Bearden defender Sam Tummins, who was the interception leader for Bearden during his time here. So I expect his little brother learning a lot from him and probably continue to see the same kind of athleticism on both sides of the ball by that young man, and a great return there. Sets up a nice start to the second offensive drive for the Bulldogs, so it puts them at the 40-yard line. There's the snap. He'll drop back, look one way, turn to the opposite way, try to throw a screen.
Nothing.
And good job sniffing that out by my man Jam. That's Jirius Abuhana who sniffed that one out. He was right there to make the tackle. And that's one thing, too, Scott, that I'm continuing to watch and look out for early on in the season is the growth and the development of this linebacking core in the secondary, who was a little bit younger last year. And you're seeing this maturity really starting to be a little bit more disciplined, have a little bit more awareness on the field. And you see Jirius Abuhana right there making a great play.
Well, also when you have Blair Goodson coming after you, you're going to get rid of that ball pretty quick.
That is true. Man comes in motion, dropping back, and now rolling out to the side and throwing it and trying to make a move before he had the football with Sean Thomas. Incomplete, and it'll be 3rd and 11.
Yeah, little awkward catch attempts for Sean Thomas as basically the ball behind him. Tried to turn his body, just could not get it around fast enough.
So now a 3rd and long for Bearden. Their first drive was a one-play fumble. This drive, are they going to go 3 and out, or can they sustain it and try to move this football down the field? 9:25 on the clock here in the first quarter. It's 7-0 Tornadoes. Thacker will roll out. He'll turn. Now look the opposite direction. Throw another screen. Bam! He is slammed to the turf. And I said it once. I'll say it again. My man Jam right there on the play. And Jam with the slam down on the field. And Bearden will now look to punt.
Yeah, he read that one all the way as the line came up to try to get the quarterback, entice him to throw that screen. Jam just waiting on him, came up and took care of it.
Well, and it's the same play we saw a minute ago.
Right.
Thacker gets the ball. He rolls out one direction, tries to lead the defense with him, and then he turns and throws it across the field the opposite way, looking to set up a receiver screen. But again, great defensive awareness, good job staying disciplined and knowing that play and being prepared for it was the Alcoa defense. So this punt to Jameer Dean is low. It's bouncing, and Jameer Dean ultimately will determine, hey, it's not worth it because he had a defender close to the ball and didn't want to fumble or make a mistake. So he leaves it alone. Smart move by the veteran wide receiver and punt returner, and the ball will be down, I believe, at the 19 is where they're going to officially spot it and where the Tornadoes will take over on offense. All right, Scott, we're going to take a really quick break here on 94.3 Jack FM. We'll be back in just a moment.
Manu's pass complete to DeBose. Chandler makes the hit. Gain of about 9. It'll bring up 2nd and 1.
Welcome back in. What you missed was a one-play pass over to the left that led to a good gain on first down by the Tornadoes and puts the ball at 2nd and 1. I believe that pass was completed to Condis Cherry on the play. It's now 2nd and 1 for the Tornadoes, and they'll look to drive and see if they can get their second score of the day. They'll hand it off to Damari DeBose, and DeBose breaks a tackle. DeBose trying to break away, Scott, but had a defender that was able just enough to grab that jersey and bring him down at the 40-yard line.
Right, really good pass right there. And Heath, the pass earlier that you're talking about actually was to DeBose as well.
All right, so that was a 32-yard rushing gain by Damari DeBose after he made the 9-yard catch a moment ago from Thomas Manu. And now they'll fake it to DeBose, throw it on a slant route to Jacobe Cooper. Jacobe Cooper thought he was going to be able to break out of that tackle as they were spinning him around, but then ultimately throw him down on the 30-yard line. And we'll take a look and see if they'll give it to him. They will. That is a Maryville Top Shot Tornado first down. Ball on the 30. So the Tornadoes working their way into the Clean Roofs Tornado red zone. So there's a snap. There's the handoff to Mari DeBose, trying to have some patience. and find a hole. A good job quickly closing that gap was Logan Carpenter, the senior linebacker, making the play. So a gain of 2, it's 2nd and 8.
Stopped after a short gain of a couple by Parrott.
Yeah, going with an empty backfield in this place, they take the Bows out wide.
Trips to the left, 2 receivers to the right, empty backfield for Manu. He'll turn, he'll throw to the 2 receiver side. That's complete to Jalen Pinson. Pinson gets past the first defender. Great block by Jameer Dean. And in the end zone, a touchdown, a Delosier auction touchdown for Jalen Pinson. And the Tornadoes on the scoreboard again.
2 drives, 2 scores, Heath.
Into the end zone. That's an Alcoa Law Joe Cooper touchdown.
Yeah, Scott, that was a really good play, and it was set up thanks to a great block by Jameer Dean, allowing Pinson to get around the block, tiptoe the sideline, and then pick up some speed and leave the defenders in the dust. So a good play by Jalen Pinson, and now the Tornadoes will look to add on here with the extra point. The snap, the kick is up, the kick is good. So 6:56 left to go in the first quarter. It is 14-0 Tornadoes. We'll take a quick break here on 94.3 Jack FM and be right back. Yeah, Devin, I was hoping to wait, and the only reason I would rather wait if possible, because we still have a decent amount of time here, is like doing it after a score, and I'll try to make sure I do that with you, is just so that way, too, on our multiple ways of streaming, we don't have any dead air on anything, because we did miss that one play that was also on our stream. So that way we just make those transitions a little more seamless if possible. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Oh, yeah. Thank you. I'll get that one on there, too. Welcome back into the David Abbey Carpet Game of the Week. Heath Dunkel alongside Sky Dunkel. And just like that, with 6:56 left to go in the first quarter, it is 14-0. Tornadoes all over the Bulldogs early in this ball game. Tornadoes now kick it off deep, backing up and catching it in the end zone for a touchback are the Bulldogs. And they'll come out for their 3rd offensive drive. We'd like to welcome you back in. Appreciate you tuning in to the broadcast. And just to continue to remind you, multiple ways, Scott, to listen, to watch, to keep up with the games each and every week. We're so blessed to be able to partner this year with 94.3 Jack FM. You've also got ways to listen on watch on NFHS and also on YouTube at Alcoa Athletics. But, man, it's been a great partnership. We got a great week 1. We're excited about week 2. And what a great start here in this ball game tonight.
Right, Heath, and Alcoa basically is just picking up where they left off against Maryville, as they've had 2 strong drives here in the first quarter alone.
So Bearden now, their first offensive drive ended in a fumble recovered by the Tornadoes in one play. Their second one, a 3-and-out, and now they're back on offense again, looking still for their first down of the ball game. As they'll turn, they'll complete the pass to Tyler Tummins. Tummins spins around, and Condis Cherry waiting on him and makes the tackle.
Gets some help from Jim there as he comes in and helps finish him off. Cherry just wraps him up and hangs on to him, make sure he doesn't go anywhere.
So it is now 2nd and 6 for the Bulldogs. 6:28 and ticking off the clock here in the first quarter. Shotgun formation for Thacker. He's got a running back to his right, trips to the right, single receiver to the left. He'll drop back, roll to the trip side, look down the field, throw it across his body. There it's caught at the 40 and tackled past the 45, and the Bearden Bulldogs get their first down of the ball game. But Scott, oh man, it might not actually be, as I do see a penalty flag on the field. No,
it's on
the Tornadoes, and it looks like they're calling, I believe, a roughing the passer. So a little too excited there, trying to make a hit on that quarterback, and a late hit by the Tornadoes will give some favorable field position to the Bulldogs.
Right, a first down, and then they get a little extra. So that is a 15-yard penalty.
Yeah, so that'll take them across the Tornado logo at midfield and over to the 40-yard line. So now 40 yards away from pay dirt are the Bulldogs, who are looking for their first score of the ball game. Just a reminder, as we're here with 6:09 left to go in the first quarter, make sure you're tuning in and keeping up to date with us throughout this ball game. As at halftime, we will post on our social medias Trevor's Tornado Trivia, brought to you by John Laycamp of State Farm. He'll turn, throw it to the outside on a wide receiver screen. Getting past the defender is Jameer Dean and wrapping up that young man at his legs and bringing him down for a loss on the play. So now it'll be 2nd and 12 after, I believe Logan Lamont on the reception. So number 0, Logan Lamont tackled, a loss of 2, and it is now 2nd and 12 for Bearden. It looks like, Scott, really, too, what you're seeing a lot with this offense is continuing to try to go one way, throw the other way, and try to distract and mess up the eyes of the Tornado defense. But they've really done a good job staying in their lanes and staying disciplined so far. Bearden will send a man in motion, look in the flats to throw it to him, and instead try to throw the deep ball, but overthrown was Tummins, intended for him. And even, Scott, if it was in his area, he was blanketed by the defensive back for the Tornadoes. That was Mason Laster. Mason Laster, another young man, if I remember correctly, who also transferred here from Bearden High School. So 3 different transfers that have come to the Tornadoes, and already we're seeing their impact.
Exactly, Heath. And Laster all over him, did not let him get anywhere. It was going to be a really, really good catch if he was able to get that ball.
Well, and a high probability of an interception,
yes,
as Mason was right there with him step for step. It is 3rd and 12 for the Bulldogs, with single receiver to the left, 2 receivers to the right, and also a tight end split off to the right side. 1 running back in the backfield to the left of Thacker. He'll turn, hand it off to him. He'll roll out. Now look to throw it down the field. He's wide open. Wow. Great trickeration by the Bulldogs, and that will lead to number 4, Grant Cross, entering Pater. So it was
missed an assignment right there.
Number 5, Paxton Parrott on the carry, went straight east and west to the right side near the Bearden Bulldogs sidelines, and as the Tornadoes pulled up, man, Grant Cross just wide open down the field. A beautiful throw and a touchdown for the Bulldogs. And it's got a little fun fact. Paxton Parrott, that running back, knows a little bit about quarterback because his older brother, Drew Parrott, was the former quarterback and also receiver who scored that go-ahead touchdown. Drew Parrott now at Carson Newman with our own Eli Graff and Jameer Turner. Extra point is blocked, and it'll be no good. So with 5:02 left to go in the first quarter, the Bulldogs finally strike, and they're down to the Tornadoes. Your score is Alcoa 14, Bearden 6 with 5:02 left to go here in the first quarter. So, Scott, so far, you're seeing a game that really appears to be, for the most part, dominated by the Tornadoes, but you're seeing this Bulldog fight. You're seeing some really good things from a young team that Brad Turner is really good at developing and growing. He's known for player development, and you see right there, it's kind of one of those things when you play a team that you know maybe you're a little bit outmatched. They've got some things that you don't. You have to bring in some things, some trickeration, and they did it right there, and it worked out. You
went with Alcoa's aggression right there as they were being overly aggressive and watching for that screenplay again.
Mm-hmm.
The corners come in a little too far. They forget someone can go right by them. Guy was open. That was a good play, and that's what Bearden's probably going to have to use quite a few of to keep this game close.
Well, and you wonder, too, like if they kept going to that screenplay for a moment just to really lull the defense to sleep and then take that shot, because there was no one in the area. Certainly a blown assignment that Coach Nix will talk about and take a look at so they can figure out what happened on the play and make sure they're ready for it the second time around. But right now, Bearden getting ready to kick things off to the Tornadoes. Looks like
that'll be,
I believe, 92 Aiden Tipton to kick.
Keep waiting for him to turn.
Yeah, a little hard to see the jersey from here. No, that is actually number 89. That is Alonzo Sanchez, the senior kicker. Tornadoes got Jameer Dean, Condis Cherry, and Damari DeBose back to receive. They'll kick it to Dean. Dean will catch it at the 5, and here comes the return to the 15, to the 20. Dean somehow ducks 2 defenders, now breaks it to the outside, to the 40,
go.
45, 50,
There he
gets
goes.
the tackle, breaks another 40, taken down at the 35-yard line. But Scott, there is a penalty flag thrown near the 50, and I think they're going to call a block in the back by one of the players on the kickoff return team. And Coach Nix is not too happy about it, as I believe he felt that Jameer Dean could have gotten around it and still made that play. But instead of the great yardage it gave them, the Tornadoes will move backwards.
Still for a kickoff, good yardage, but much better if you had been on Bearden's side of the field and not your own. But the kicker was Sanchez that actually had to come up and catch up with Dean and bring him down.
Yeah, and more often than not, kickers do not want to have to be the one making the tackle on that play. They like to be the last line of defense, and hopefully they never have to be called upon.
To be spotted at the 39.
So Alcoa's ball at the 39. 4:46 left here in the first quarter as Alcoa leads 14-6 over Bearden.
So ball at the 39-yard line for the Tornadoes. We've got an empty backfield for Manu. 3 receivers to the left, 2 to the right. You've got Dean and Pinson out to the right side. You've got DeBose, Hawkins, and Micah Jones out to the left. They'll turn to the 2 receiver side, complete it to Jameer Dean. And Jameer Dean taken out of bounds. It'll bring up second down.
A good 7-yard pass right there. Good fight from Dean as well.
Maynard makes the first hit.
Yeah, the Bulldogs doing a good job wrapping him up at his feet and not allowing him to break that tackle. Jameer Dean, a junior wide receiver who's quite slippery. He's got a few D1 offers already. I'm sure he's going to collect many more over the next 2 years. They turn, they'll hand it off, and now running the ball, I believe for the first time today, is Micah Jones now getting his opportunity at running back. Jones started the game last week against the Rebels, and he certainly made the Rebels pay, carrying the ball 18 times, had 2 touchdowns in the ball game. And he was the one who had the go-ahead score in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, he had 2 touchdowns where basically the middle of the line just parted for him.
They'll turn, they'll pitch it to the left to Jones. Jones will cut it back up the middle. A good run by Micah and a first down for Alcoa. Alcoa win again with that trips bunch set to the left side. And Scott, these are the type of plays that they really need to continue to develop and use, because more often than not last year when they went to that trips bunch formation, it was almost always a quarterback draw out to the left, or quarterback sweep, if you will. So using plays like that with Micah, the pitch and allowing him to run, doing some different things out of it, will continue to allow them to make that a little bit easier for the quarterback.
And a little movement from Bearden, got a little excited, wanted to get in the backfield early.
The play whistle dead. A marker is
So an offsides penalty on Bearden allows Alcoa a Maryville top shot first down as the ball moves now to the Bearden 32-yard line, 3:42 left in the first quarter.
against the Bulldogs for encroachment.
And Cherry now in the game for Alcoa in the backfield.
So it'll put the ball at the 32 for the Tornadoes, and they're looking to see if they can answer right back after allowing Bearden to touchdown. A handoff to Cherry. Cherry cuts to the outside. Good team defense by Bearden pursuing the football and tackling Cherry at the line of scrimmage.
Parrott makes the stop.
Yeah, Cherry tried to cut in, saw that wasn't there, tried to drag it out just a little bit further towards the sideline. Gave Bearden too much time to catch up to him.
It'll be 2nd and 10 now for the Tornadoes as the clock continues to tick. 3:08 left to go in the first quarter. Manu will drop back, roll to his right, look down the field. He's got a man. It's Jacobe Cooper. The catch near the 5, a juke move, and waltzing into the end zone. And just like that, Jacobe Cooper finds pay dirt for the first time today, and the 3rd touchdown of the game for the Tornadoes.
Makes a move.
Yeah, Jacobe,
Scampers
his 3rd touchdown of the year, as he had 2 last week against Maryville. And a great move as he just lets the defender overrun him and then walks basically right into the end zone.
Yeah, uses the speed of the defender trying to get to him to his advantage. Yeah, and just kind of a little bit of an Olay there as the defender goes past Jacobe Cooper. Plenty of daylight to waltz into the maroon rectangle. So the touchdown is good. Here comes the extra point, up and doing. And so the Tornadoes answer right back. It is 21-6 with 2:58 left to go in the first quarter. All Tornadoes so far in this ball game. and cruising right now. Manu having a really good game. We're going to continue to keep you updated on that at the end of the first quarter. We'll give you those Black Horse Pub end of quarter stats when we open up the second quarter. But, Scott, just another awesome play by this Tornado offense. Really feels like they're kind of finding their stride. And you have to imagine a big game against their rival in week one certainly gives them a lot of confidence moving into week two.
That it did, Heath, and you see what they're doing right now with it as well as here in the David Abbey Carpet Game of the Week. Alcoa is controlling this game.
So with 2:58 left to go in the first quarter, the Tornadoes will look to kick it off again. Bearden Bulldogs have gotten 6 points on the board so far here in the first, but the Tornadoes have gotten 21. Now, it was the last drive that the Bulldogs were finally to string together something and get it moving down the field, and it was a trick play that allowed the Bulldogs to find themselves with a touchdown. Now they'll see what they draw up here. Well, we see some more trickeration on this drive. Bearden getting ready and back to receive. It is number 13, Traje Edwards, and also number 3, Tyler Tummins, back awaiting the kickoff from Alcoa's Kyron Tyson. So Tyson prepares himself for the Cadunza kickoff. He'll make sure both sides are ready to go. And now here comes Tyson to boot this one away. This one up in the air and backing up near the Alcoa A in the end zone and catching it is Tummins for a touchback.
Yeah, Tyson's first kickoff a little short. After that, he got his leg going again and just putting him back in the end zone.
And Scott, after that great play a moment ago from Bearden with the trickeration and Paxton Parrott throwing it down the field for a touchdown, I would look to see if they continue to try to find ways to keep Parrott moving in this ball game and use his athleticism and his skill set. But I thought Aiden Thacker, the quarterback, he hasn't looked necessarily bad. Alcoa has just read those plays very quickly and dissected them and made things difficult for that young man. Thacker, a homegrown kid who played at Bearden Middle as well. So these guys really continuing to grow and develop, and we'll see that more as the season progresses and they continue to learn from their new head coach. They'll drop back. Thacker will turn. He'll throw. He'll complete it. Now down past the 30-yard line as that pass was completed to number 16 of the Bulldogs. That is Connor Gilbreth.
Yeah, and Gilbreth just able to get about 10 yards or so around, no defender around him, so an easy pass and the easy catch for him. Looked like Alcoa just kind of watching zone areas.
Yeah, a little too much cushion by the DB that time. Allowed Thacker to take advantage of it and hit his receiver. And the receiver able to lower the shoulder and drive forward to pick up that first down. So 1st and 10, ball in the 32. Shotgun formation for Thacker. Thacker will get the snap. He'll roll to his right, turn, throw it down the field. That one is caught and falling backwards and down onto the turf, I believe, is Gilbreth for another reception and another first down. And that was a really good layered throw, Scott. You had a defender a few yards in front of him, a few yards behind him, but really able to get it over the top of them and then sink it right in the middle to Gilbreth, who made a good catch.
Yeah, and Thacker right now just getting rid of the ball quickly, not giving the defenders the front line for Alcoa to get back there to him.
That'll put the ball at the 46-yard line. Thacker turns, looks to throw it quickly again, and now decides to run with the football, and he will be able to cut it up for a gain of 1 before it looks like it was Cade Stinnett who made the tackle, along with an assist by number 76 of the Tornadoes on the play as well. And that a little bit bunched up. I think it might actually be 75, Aiden Myers, who made the tackle.
Yeah, Stinnett holding the line right there, letting the quarterback come to him, just wrapping him up, and then getting some help to finish him off.
2nd and 9 for Bulldogs. Thacker will turn, look over to the sidelines to get the play call. 2 receivers to the left, 2 to the right. He'll turn, throw to the right side, complete. Now backing up and trying to make his way around the 2 defenders, but the pursuit of the Tornado defense does not allow him to get much further down the field.
Thacker's pass complete once again.
So about 3rd and 5 right here, Heath, for Bearden.
That was complete to number 88, Michael Petty on the reception. It's now 3rd down.
Think they'll go to the screen pass.
I'd look for a little bit of trickeration here if they can, but it's 3rd and 5 for Bearden. 2 receivers to the left, 2 to the right, running back to the right of Thacker. Tornadoes look to bring pressure. Here they come with 2 linebackers blitzing. He'll turn, throw it quickly down the field and up and no good. Man. They're going to call pass interference on the Tornadoes, but Scott, I thought that was just a good battle.
Yeah, it was a good battle. His head was around. Didn't see any holding or anything going on down there. But he just had his hand up to know where the body was and then swiped at the ball.
Yeah, it looked like the ball just kind of came in between them, and he just was able to knock it free. I hate that they're going to call this penalty because that was certainly not pass interference. There is no way. That should have been an incompletion 4th down.
Yeah, I didn't see it at all.
Signal against the Tornadoes.
But either way, it helps Bearden.
Yeah, it'll continue to move them down the field closer to that end zone. But, Scott, one of the things I really liked, too, because it was Mason Laster on the coverage. After the play, Coach Nix went over to him and said, hey, you did nothing wrong. That's exactly what I want. So having a coach, too, that has your back and continuing to encourage him that he continues to want that physicality and that toughness at the DB position.
Right, and when your defender does nothing wrong, you definitely want to make sure they know it because getting a flag like that can be discouraging.
Well, and sometimes cause you to try to overthink or adjust and maybe make some mistakes. So you want to let him know, hey, I love the physicality. Continue to do what you're doing. They'll turn. Thacker will throw outside into the flats. Right there to make the tackle is Jameer Dean after a gain of 1. I think they're going to actually end up giving him 2. I was trying to see where the spot was. So a 2-yard gain on the play. That was to number 11, Sean Thomas, on the reception. Now under a minute left to go in the first quarter. Will the Bulldogs be able to punch it in on this drive? They've got a 2nd and 8, ball in the 32, 21-6. Tornadoes in the lead right now here in the first quarter. Parrott in the backfield to the right side of Thacker. 2 receivers to the left, with a tight end split off to the left side as well. And then a single receiver to the right. He'll turn, fake it to Parrott. Now look to the single receiver side. And Scott, as he's getting tackled, he throws it to a lineman for a reception, and 3 more defensive linemen waiting on him to slam him to the turf.
That's a penalty as well.
You can't do that.
Well, at least the lineman made an effort to run with the ball.
Kind of one of those plays, you always hope you'll get an opportunity as a lineman to make a play, but then it turned around and 3 Alcoa linemen waiting for him. Ineligible receiver, and by that throw by Thacker. And Scott, again, this is something you're going to see. Growing pains by this young team, figuring things out, learning as they go. You're going to see these mistakes. It's not going to be uncommon throughout the season as they continue to grow. But you know Coach Taylor is going to continue to coach them up and develop them. And the thing is, Aiden Thacker, who hasn't looked bad today, makes a mistake like that. But, Scott, he's only a sophomore, so a lot of room to grow for this young man.
Well, also, Heath, on the penalty, it's a loss of down as well. So making it 3rd down and about 21.
3rd and 21, and the clock is stopped. So 19.9 seconds left to go in the first quarter. He'll turn, throw it out to Parrott. Parrott's got a screen after bubbling it out, and he'll cut up the field. He'll get some of that yardage back, but certainly not all of it. It's going to be 4th and very long. And as the clock continues to tick, Bearden will come back and look to more than likely punt as we start the second quarter. So the buzzer will sound. That will do it for quarter number 1. Your score, Alcoa 21, Bearden 6. We'll take a quick break. You're listening to 94.3 Jack FM.
Fans, the class of 1985 of Alcoa High School is in attendance this evening, celebrating their 40th class reunion. Let's give them a big welcome.
I don't have a clue where it's at. Y'all look good. Keep it up.
Welcome you back into the call. Your score at the end of one was 21-6 Tornadoes. We begin second quarter action, and the Bulldogs will start the quarter off by punting the football. So they'll turn, they'll boot that ball down the field. A nice high spiraling punt that will go into the end zone for a touchback, and the Tornadoes will come out again on offense, looking to continue to add on. Scott, every time the Tornadoes have had the football, they've been able to move it down the field, and they've put it in the end zone.
Right, Heath, and a good start for Alcoa here, getting the ball back to start the second quarter here in the David Abbey Carpet Game of the Week, as Alcoa will start at their 20-yard line. Looks like Manu coming back in, going to continue to go. He's going to get a lot of playing time today, I would think, just going to get him into a rhythm.
I would imagine, Scott, if the Tornadoes are able to really open this thing up, we may actually see more in the second half. Luca Dougherty get an opportunity. So we'll see how long Manu does stay in, but looking sharp so far today. Empty backfield for Manu, trips to the right, two receivers to the left. You've got Dean and DeVos on the left side. You've got Pinson and a few others on the left as they'll turn on a wide receiver screen to Jameer Dean. And a good job of the offensive lineman releasing quickly, getting up the field, and leading the way for a 9-yard gain by Jameer.
Yeah, it looked like he was trying to cut back up through the middle so he could maybe split the defenders and get through it. Was not able to do so, but did still get good yardage as he got 9 on that play.
Well, with the two receivers to the left, they sent one of them in motion to really try to throw off that defense, and then went to the single receiver side. This time they'll turn up the middle, hand it to Damari DeBose. A clean hold for DeBose, a little juke, a little jive, spin move, breaking a couple tackles, and eventually another defender makes his way to DeBose and tackles him past the 45. And Scott, down the field, we've got another penalty flag, and it looks like it may be a little bit of, I would imagine, some jawing and probably a personal foul.
A continued block from Abuhana, but couldn't tell if the defender had him. It looked like maybe by the face mask something, not sure, as I saw him throw his hands up, and that's about the time the flag started coming out.
I think it's going to be on Bearden, because you saw Abuhana after the play kind of look and go and point right at the Bearden Bulldogs like he thought it was going to be on them after what happened. So let's see what the call is on the field.
Face mask. Yeah, that's what I thought it was.
So the Tornadoes will trot down.
The signal is holding against the Bulldogs.
And Heath, looking, we've already seen quite a few penalties already this game. Just thinking about the Maryville game, it was pretty clean.
It was a pretty clean game, very disciplined, very clean game. This game, a little bit different for a few different reasons. We've already really harped on the fact that you're going to see a younger team make mistakes. But I think some of it, too, is also emotions. So you've got some emotions boiling in this game as well from former players. And also just maybe some frustration with how this game's going so far by a team that maybe does not like to be in this kind of hole. So they'll turn, they'll hand it off and start it. No, it's a fake. Manu rolls out. Manu throws down the field. Can he make the catch?
He
yes,
does.
He can. What a play as making the catch and scoring Jirius Abuhana. It's got a good throw by Manu, and as Jirius turned to make it, kind of backpedaled and fell into the end zone for another Tornado touchdown. That is the fourth Delosier auction touchdown of the night for Alcoa. And just like that, with 11 minutes left to go in the second quarter, they add their fourth score of the day.
Right, a very good fake on that handoff as he had the Bearden defenders all pulling in the middle, going after the running back. Just rolled out a little to the right. Excellent throw.
Well, I'm going to say, if they had their radio headsets on listening to the call of the game, they were thrown off by the same thing I was. It was a great fake to DeBose, which really sucked that defense in, like you said, and allowed Manu to pull it out, roll out, and make a really good throw leading his receiver. And that's been the thing, too, I've been really impressed with early in the season. I think Manu's done a really good job it's easy early in your career to get a little too excited and put a little too much power and a little too much mustard on it when you're trying to get a guy down the field and overthrow him. You see that a lot from young quarterbacks. Manu was able to really just put enough touch on that and place it perfectly for Abuhana to make that touchdown.
Right, and those are the ones as a quarterback that really make you feel good because you felt like you just had the perfect touch.
You certainly did, and the extra point was up and good. And so with 11 minutes left to go in the second quarter, 28-6, Alcoa. Now, we didn't get to give it to you, and certainly we'll have some more to add on to it. But prior to that possession, the Black Horse Pub into quarter sets. Manu in the first quarter was 6 of 6 for 90 yards and 2 touchdowns. Jalen Pinson, 1 reception for a touchdown. Jacobe Cooper, 3 receptions and a touchdown. And also Damari DeBose, 2 rushes for 34 yards and 1 reception for 9. So Manu now picks up his 3rd passing touchdown of the night. And early on in this game, Scott, he's certainly making a run for that player of the week. Brought to you by Kenny Jarvis of State Farm.
Yeah, so far it's going to be pretty tough to figure out which one we're going to give for that increase. But several players having outstanding games at this point.
So Tyron Tyson boots that one down the field. It's going to be caught around the 5 and returned to the 10, to the 15, to the 20, to the 25, stretching it outside down the sidelines and knocked out of bounds before he can reach the 30. And the Bulldogs will come back out on offense. So you continue to find yourself in a big hole. It's only getting deeper, and you're continuing to try to figure out things on offense and find some answers. Right now, Scott, if you're talking to this offense, what are you telling your quarterback?
Just stay with it. You know, this is your first game. You've got to get a lot of jitters out. Now, keep in mind, not Alcoa's Bearden's, because they were not able to play last week against West due to the weather. But just kind of keep working. I mean, this is a long season. This is a good game to play and kind of get a barometer of what you're going to look like this year. However, this is not a district game or a region game, so it's just going to be a fun game, and we're going to learn from it.
First and 10, they'll turn, they'll throw it, it's complete. Now he's going to be past the 40-yard line for a first down and stretching to get as much as he can is Paxton Parrott on the reception. It almost felt for a minute there, Scott, like the Tornadoes were in a little bit of cement as he caught it and just kind of weaved his way right through him as they were trying to turn and
just
react.
Kind of ran right by him. It almost looked like
it was a delayed reaction by the defense.
Two-hand touch.
That's a 1st and 10 Bulldogs.
So a first down for Bearden. That'll put the ball at the 45. Trips to the right, single receiver to the left. Thacker calling things out to his offense. He'll turn, look over, and get any adjustments necessary. He'll turn, throw to the left side. And by the time he turned around, Tyler Tummins, the ball had already been there and was a little bit underthrown, and that one will fall incomplete.
Well, Thacker was a little rushed, had to get rid of that ball quickly. And he remembers what happened last time he threw it just to somebody.
Don't throw it to a lineman unless they declare themselves eligible.
Or the ball's tipped first.
That's true. 2nd and 10 for Bearden. 2 receivers to the right, 1 to the left as Bearden moves from left to right on your radio dial. Thacker will look to the sidelines and just kind of taking their time now as they try to get the play calls and any adjustments as the coaches see what Alcoa is showing. Alcoa will look to bring blitz. They'll hand the ball up the middle, and that blitz surges the line backwards, and the Tornado defense slicing through the gaps and bringing the running back down for a loss.
Yeah, Alcoa, very good read on that play. Knew exactly what was fixing to happen. As they also brought the corners up, too, to come in.
Yeah, just really scrunched up that defensive line and then got through the gaps to make the play. So Parrott will lose a yard. It's now 3rd and 11. Under 10 minutes to go here in the second quarter. 2 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. The tight end split off to the right side of the offensive line. And I believe that's Parrott in the backfield with Thacker. Here comes man Henry on a blitz. He'll turn. It's a reverse play for the Bulldogs. No, a reverse pass for the Bulldogs. And it does work out. He will be short, and it will bring up 4th down as catching it just about 2 yards short of the first down marker was Tummins. And I believe it was number 3 Tummins on the catch and number 3 DeBose on the tackle. And it's now 4th and 2. And Scott, I think it looks like Bearden's thinking about going for it here.
Yeah, it looks like they are. DeBose lucky, very close right there to the sideline that almost got him a late hit. So, but you definitely didn't want Tummins to take off with it. He's a very good receiver. Got some good speed.
So now we'll see if Bearden tries to fake a handoff and dump it over the defense or what, but Alcoa's bringing some pressure either way.
We're trying to draw Alcoa.
They did try to see if they could get them to jump. That's the number one thing if you're a defense in this situation you want to look for is, hey, don't jump off sides and give them free yardage. Alcoa does it. Bearden recognizes it, and immediately after not getting Alcoa to jump, they call a timeout. So now you'll see if Bearden, more than likely, Scott, maybe they talk things over and say, hey, let's try to punt it now. Or do you think they still try to go for it at this point on the field?
This side of the field, I think Bearden's going to punt it. I don't really see them wanting to take a chance. You turn the ball over or something happens, you're giving Alcoa a very short field.
I don't know. I almost wonder at this stage of the game, I mean, it's still early, but at the same time, you haven't yet been able to stop the Tornadoes offensively. If maybe you start to feel a little bit of that desperation just slowly starting to creep in and you think, hey, maybe we just go for it here. Or even if you see him in punt formation as Alcoa, you've got to play a safe punt here and look for that fake. So it'll be 4th and 2. Out come the Bulldogs. Let's see what they set up in. It looks like, Scott, they are still planning to go for it. If you're Coach Nix, remind your team yet again, hey, you did a great job a moment ago. Watch again. Do not jump, because they may come out of the timeout and still try to get you to jump again and just say, hey, let's go on 2 and just see if we can trick them this time.
Or will they drop back for a quick hit?
He doesn't appear far enough back. He'll turn. He'll throw it straight down the sidelines and
missed.
Put it where only Tummins could catch it, but still just a little bit too far outside, and Tummins got fingertips on it, but then it fell out of bounds and rolled towards the Bearden cheerleaders. So it'll be a turnover on downs. It'll be the Tornadoes now with the football.
A good defense as well for Alcoa as he was able to keep him from getting control of that ball. But like I said, that's kind of a tricky place to have that ball, and you know, that one to me, I don't necessarily know that would have been the right call. I would have made to that pass anyway.
Yeah, well, and like I said, Scott, I think that the reason you go for it there if you're Bearden is you're starting to feel that desperation creep in.
True.
Now you're putting the Tornadoes, though, because you didn't get it, in great field position to start off this drive for them and a chance to see if they can add another touchdown on the board. With 9:31 left to go in the second quarter. Mono will get the snap. Mono will drop back. He'll look down the field. He'll throw it. He's got a man. It looked like hit a little bit early that time by the defender who was all over him and kind of was turning him with his hand around his hip. No penalty flag called. Incompletion, as that one was intended for Haynes Hawkins. I'm surprised, Scott, I didn't see.
That's what I was looking at. Is you called that one down here on the end. Didn't really look like anything. You see the defender over the top, draped over the top of the back of the receiver, kind of pushing him forward, and referee saying nothing.
Yeah, and you hate to see that, as it certainly was, in my opinion, a penalty. But this time, we do have a penalty flag on the play, and we'll see what the call is.
Offsides, Bearden.
Looks like Alcoa was able to get them to jump.
Yeah, sometimes when you're playing a really good offense like Alcoa, you're trying to get that extra edge and be able to get there a little quicker. Alcoa very patient.
This kind of makes you a little bit overly aggressive, especially as the game is going the way it has so far. So with that, it'll now be 2nd and 5 for the Tornadoes. So it's still almost like they found a way to pick up 5 on first down. It works out for them. And so in the backfield is Condace Cherry, a pitch out to the left side. Cherry continuing to bounce it out, trying to find some space, but yet again we see some really good pursuit from the defense, forcing Cherry east and west and take it out of bounds, and he will not gain anything on the play. If anything, he may have lost a yard. He will, so it's a loss of 1, and it's now 3rd and 6 for Alcoa.
Yeah, Bearden getting really quick on the ends there. The corner's getting up and the outside linebacker's getting up as well. Keeping Cherry, making him stretch it out, just not able to find a gap to break it up.
3rd and 6, for the Tornadoes. 9:15 to go in the second quarter. Tornadoes lead 28-6. Mono will roll out to his right, completed, making a move, and shifty Jacobe Cooper gets the first down. 2 more defenders come over and meet him and throw him down to the turf at the 37. So a Maryville top shot, first down for the Alcoa Tornadoes. And it'll put the ball at the 37-yard line for Alcoa. Condis will remain in the backfield with Manu. Single receiver to the right. He'll turn handoff to the single receiver side. Condis cutting it up down the field, making players miss, and then near the first down marker will be met and escorted towards the out-of-bounds marker. And Scott, during that tackle, we did see a penalty flag thrown. I almost wonder if we're going to see a hold down the field on the Tornadoes.
And we do.
We do. So the Tornadoes will move backwards.
That'll be a spot foul
against the Tornadoes.
So it looks like it's going to make it about, let's see, about first down and 17 for the Tornadoes.
Struck the ball at the 44-yard line.
As they are going to be marked back to the 44-yard line of Bearden.
Tornadoes will turn, fake the handoff, turn on the receiver screen to Jacobe Cooper. Cooper, though, Scott, it took a little too long for him to be able to find some room around that screen. The DB was doing a good job kind of going back and forth around Pinson, not allowing Cooper really any room to know which way to go, and it allowed the rest of the defense to get to him.
Well, Cooper backpedaling as well kind of threw his timing off just a little bit. By the time he was able to turn around and start to go down the field, he was caught up. So he loses one on the play as well.
Second down and long for Alcoa. It'll be second and 18. Mono will drop back. Tornadoes down the field. Mono looking, no time, and he decides to take off with it. He'll turn, break a tackle, lower his helmet, and a good run by Thomas Mono gets some of that yardage back. It'll now be third and 12 for Alcoa. So a 6-yard gain by the quarterback.
Chandler makes the stop. It'll be third and 12.
It kind of sent the receivers to the left and right of the formation, almost in somewhat of a mesh pattern, just kind of crossing each other in the middle of the field. And I think it just took a little too long for Mono to really try to find an opening within the teeth of that defense, and ultimately felt some pressure and had to go.
A little equipment adjustment real fast here from the referee assisting one of the Bearden players. There we go.
Got him strapped back up, and we're back to it. 7:41 to go in the second quarter. Third and 12 for Alcoa. So the first time we've really seen Alcoa really kind of moving in the wrong direction on an offensive drive, and the Tornadoes helping themselves out here, Scott, is yet again on this drive alone. They've been able to get Bearden to jump again and get a free 5.
Offside.
Yeah, Bearden very aggressive trying to get into the backfield quickly. Again, Alcoa drawing them off, and this is about the, I'm going to say, fourth time, I believe, that they've had an offsides penalty.
Well, and you just saw the coaches for the sideline just kind of throw up their hands and put their hands on their knees, just going, man, we can't keep shooting ourselves in the foot when we finally put ourselves in a good position defensively. Alcoa will turn. They'll complete it to Abuhana. Abuhana breaks the tackle, breaks the number. Another, can he stay on his feet? Yes, he can. In the end zone he goes. And a touchdown for the Tornadoes. That is another Delozier auction tornado touchdown, and Abuhana making another big-time play, his second receiving touchdown of the night.
Not only doing it defensively, but also having a great offensive game. But a little thing there at the end, a little shove from the Bearden player after he was well into the end zone.
Yeah, taking a look back, and we have the pleasure of being able to see the replay, Scott, and it was just a really good play by Buhana. Was able to shed that first defender, almost lost his footing, but staying up just enough to then kind of turn on the jets and separate himself far enough away from the defenders to get himself in the end zone before they caught up to him. So the touchdown good, the extra point up and good, and just like that, Scott, again, the Tornadoes have scored on every single drive they've had the ball, and with 6:55 left to go in the second quarter, 35-6 Tornadoes. We're going to take a quick break. You're listening to 94.3 Jack FM.
Tyson will kick off.
That was our first break of the quarter.
As always, sponsored by AMR.
It's hard when you continue to score to really find the right opportunity to. Welcome back into the David Abbey Carpet Game of the Week here on 94.3 Jack FM. Heath Dunkel alongside Scott Dunkel. And your score 35-6 with 6:55 left to go in the second quarter. It's been all Tornadoes for a majority of this ball game. It was a game, Scott, that we predicted this game to be a blowout. We thought the Tornadoes would win by at least 21 points or more, and we're certainly seeing that right now as they've got that lead. Coulter thought the same thing, and he's been pretty accurate as well as we're seeing that big-time lead by Alcoa. I think we're only going to continue to see this game potentially get further out of hand. But right now, if you're the offense for Bearden, you're continuing to try to figure out what can you do that works, and how do you continue to go to that well to allow yourself to move the football down the field. Feels like one of the big playmakers that you got to continue to find a way to get the football to is Paxton Parrott. I feel like he's been a really kind of game changer for them on offense so far.
Right, he's really done a great job so far for them, but also you've got to be able to keep Thacker, the quarterback, from getting, basically getting rushed. He's having to hurry quite a few of these passes.
6:55 left to go in the second quarter. The Bulldogs on offense. Ball at the 20-yard line.
And just a quick note for Coulter's 38 points for the game. I think they're going to get that in the half.
Interception by the Tornadoes. That's Laster. Laster cuts across the field to the 10, to the 5.
Stay up.
And as he gets hit, he falls into the end zone for another Tornado touchdown. It was a high throw by Thacker. It got deflected off of the receiver, and behind him waiting for the ball was Laster. Laster gets down the field. It was a Maryville Top Shop defensive stop that led to another Delosier auction touchdown. And again, this
as
time,
you said, he was from Bearden. That just puts some little icing on that cake.
It certainly does. We've seen multiple former Bearden players make plays in this game, at least be involved in some form or fashion. We saw Big Ton Brazelton making plays on offense at the offensive line, opening up holes for his team. You saw Haynes Hawkins getting involved on both sides of the football. You see right there Laster with an interception and ending up with a touchdown. This time, Scott, it wasn't even an offensive possession, but even the defense getting involved tonight in the scoring action.
And I think we've surpassed Coulter's prediction there for Alcoa points.
We have 6:43 left to go in the second quarter. There's the snap. There's the kick. Up and doing. 42-6. Now your score, Alcoa. And so, Scott, we were talking earlier. You mentioned that you thought this would be a game where we would see Manu for a long time continue to get some opportunities. I would almost say this may be a game that we might see a quarterback change at halftime.
At the moment, that's exactly what it's looking like is going to happen, Heath.
We've also got a penalty flag thrown after the play. And it looks like, I believe, a personal foul.
Unsportsmanlike on Bearden.
Well, and again, that's what we talked about. Those emotions kind of getting a little bit out of hand. Probably some frustration as well with the fact that this game is getting out of hand. So both teams, that should negate then anything there. And the Tornadoes will get ready to kick off here in just a moment. And Scott, you've got some Hardy scoreboard updates for us?
Yeah, exactly. Just down the road a little bit, William Blunt leading Austin East in the second quarter, 24-0. Looks like Knoxville Grace and Carter tied at 14. Oak Ridge all over Clinton, 21-0. These are second quarters. In second quarter as well, Powell leading Farragut 14-7. Just a few scores around the area to let you know what's going on.
All right, Scott. Well, thank you for those scoreboard updates. We'll continue to keep our eyes on those, and we'll have Trevor come in at halftime to give us some of those as well. Make sure, too, you're checking out our social media platforms on Two Hype Sports, as at halftime we will be posting Trevor's Tornado Trivia, brought to you by John Laycamp of State Farm. 42-6, your score. It's Alcoa in the lead with 6:43 left to go in the second quarter, and the Tornadoes preparing themselves to kick this ball off. But, Scott, as everyone else was set and ready, Kyra Tyson looking over the sideline saying, hey, I still need the ball. And so they got the ball over to him.
That does help, doesn't it?
Yeah, the ref's got it, and now the ref waiting to make sure they're ready to go before he lets Kyron set it down and kick it away.
Also, real fast on the Hardy scoreboard update, Maryville taking it out on West right now in the second quarter. Maryville 21, West 0.
So they'll kick this one away. It's caught near the 10. And Tubbins will now look to find a hole and see if he can return this one for big yardage. The Tornadoes, though, having none of that, and they'll tackle him before he reaches the 30.
And once again, some more flags come flying out. This one up around the 48-yard line. Looked like Tyson was involved in it, and one of the Bearden players, I could not get his number.
So we await another penalty flag by the referees, and we'll see what they call.
Personal foul on Alcoa, and then traded off with a personal foul against Bearden offset.
Well, and that's one of those things too, Scott. When you really see this game continue to be chippy, we kind of had a feeling it would be before the game starts. But when you see this game continue to get chippy, it's another reason why if you come back from half, you look to start getting some other guys in because you just don't want to run the risk of losing any guys for next week.
Right. Right, your first district or a region game, and Region 2 4A for Alcoa comes up next week as they travel to Gibbs.
So we're back to it. Ball on the 28-yard line. Trips to the left for the Bulldogs. Single receiver to the right. Thacker will turn, throw to the trip side, trying to set up a receiver screen. But, man, what a play coming up. And, Scott, we said his name a moment ago as he scored the touchdown. There's Mason Laster again, breaking through the screen and wrapping up the receiver by his legs as soon as he caught the ball. And it will be a loss. And the Bulldogs are moving reverse.
Yeah, the other receiver trying to block him out of the play, he just gets right by him, blows up that screen quickly.
Second and 13 for the Bulldogs. 5:56 and counting off the clock in the second quarter. Thacker gets the snap, turns, pump fakes. Now will look to try to throw it down the field. Good defense by Damari DeBose and way overthrown by the sophomore quarterback for an incompletion. It'll now bring up third down.
Overthrown and incomplete.
Yeah, it looks like one that he expected the receiver to be in a certain place. Good defense from DeBose, able to slow the receiver down, keep him from getting where he needed to be.
So clock is stopped. It's 5:43. It's 3rd and 13 for the Bulldogs. They break the huddle. They'll come out. Have two receivers on the right side of the formation, one to the left and a tight end split off to the left side. Running back in the backfield to the right of Thacker in the shotgun. He'll get the snap. He'll drop back. Look, turn, try to throw another receiver screen, bobbling at his Tummins, and as he brings it down, he'll turn. He'll do his best to take the Tornadoes as far as he can. He'll drag a couple for a gain of a hard-fought yard. And then after that, Scott, the rest of the defense got there.
Yeah, very quickly. But Tummins juggling the ball a little bit on the initial hit. Almost reminded you of the play earlier that Alcoa intercepted and took for a touchdown. Basically, man, that's one of those that Tummins, I'm sure he was breathing a sigh of relief. He hung on to that football.
Yeah, bobbled it for a minute there. You always worry when you kind of have that second bobble and let it go. If someone's going to come around you and hit you and take it away, he was able to hold on to it. And, man, he gave a hard effort. Even for that 1 yard, that was tough because he had three guys on him.
Yes.
He drug forward for a yard. It's going to be 4th down. And now the Bulldogs will punt it away. It is now Jacobe Cooper back to return it for the Tornadoes. Almost blocked as Darius Sutterth gets close to the punter. Cooper backs up, catches it at the 34, and calls a fair catch. Oh, no, I thought he called a fair catch. Now he looks like he was going to run. And the refs will say it was fair caught. You've got to, now, Scott, correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah, don't you have to be careful there if you call a fair catch and then try to take off with it? Usually, at least in college football, isn't that typically a penalty?
It is. But, yeah, the defender came up to him, just kind of touched him like, okay, gotcha.
Yeah. Well, you almost wonder, too, if Jacobe Cooper thought, well, wait a minute, did the ref see my fair catch? Okay, should I go? I don't want to get drilled here. So
it was that, the sun's in my eyes. I just couldn't see.
Yeah, right. The 34-yard line is where this offensive drive will start for Alcoa. 42-6, your score. Every time the Tornadoes have had the football, what have they done? Put it in the end zone. And right now they'll have another opportunity to do so. But, Scott, before they do, Bearden will decide to take a timeout. So a timeout on the field for Bearden. We'll take one, too. You're listening to the David Abbey Carpet Game of the Week on 94.3 Jack FM. We'll be back in a moment.
Taxi cab, everybody's looking at me now. Like, who's that chick that's rocking kicks? She gotta be from out of town. So hard with my girls not around me. It's definitely not a national party, cause all I see is the letters. I guess I never got the memo. My tummy's turning and I'm feeling kinda homesick. Too much pressure and I'm nervous. It's when the DJ's on my premises and the Britney's all alone. And the Britney's all alone. And the Britney's all alone.
Welcome back into the David Abbey Carpet Game of the Week. It's 1st and 10 for the Tornadoes with 4:36 left to go in the second quarter. They're going to look to see if they can score again. This completion to Haynes Hawkins, and Hawkins with a nice job, Scott, holding on to the football as he was getting taken down to the turf, and then a linebacker came over and added an additional hit, almost kind of hit him in that helmet area, and he's still able to hold on and make a really good grab. It'll bring up second and short.
It's 2nd and 1.
Yes, Ethan, really glad to see getting some more receivers in here as well, getting them some playing time and experience.
They'll hand it off this time to DeBose. DeBose will find a hole that'll then get wrapped up and closed quickly. Good tackle by number 52, Justin Chandler on the play.
Good enough for a first down, though, so that is a Maryville Top Shot Tornado first down.
Absolutely. First down for Alcoa, ball on the 45-yard line. Clock will continue to tick as we're now under 4 minutes left to go in the first half. Feels like, Scott, we're seeing Damari DeBose a lot more tonight at the running back position as they'll hand it off to him again. He'll bounce it out to the outside. He's using the speed, kind of slowed down the defender just enough to allow him then to get around him. Tubbins will meet him after he picks up the first down and pushes him over to the Bearden sideline. So another first down for Alcoa. Ball now near the 40-yard line. They'll place it at the 41.
Yeah, so another Maryville Top Shot Tornado first down is, like you said, he gave a good little stutter step more or less and got the defender slowed down, but number 5 here is another first down or another 5 yards for Alcoa as offsides from Bearden.
Yeah, that penalty moving Alcoa in the right direction. But yeah, it almost kind of reminds you of that old school Alabama Derrick Henry kind of high step for a minute to kind of just slow up your speed, which also slows up the defender. And as they're slowing up, then you turn back on the Jets and get just a step to be able to move around them. And that's exactly what DeBose did. Great job by the young running back. It's 2nd and 5. Manu drops back, looks down the field, looks to sling it. He will. A deep shot to the end zone. Caught. Tornado touchdown. And guess who's got Jameer Dean on the reception? Another fantastic throw by Thomas Manu, and another Delosier auction touchdown. So still,
he just lays that ball up there, Heath, like that, and Dean with his speed actually had to slow down the weight on it.
Yeah, just slowed down a step to be able to let that one fall, but still a good placement by the quarterback, a great catch by the wide receiver. Manu continuing to add on to his stats. I'm going to have to take a look here at halftime. I don't know if I remember, I think he's only got 1 incompletion so far tonight, so having a stellar night again. He was 80% completion percentage against Maryville. He's already higher than that tonight. There's the snap, there's the kick, it's up, it's in, and with 2:34 left to go in the second quarter, 48-6, and it's got something interesting to note. And I don't know if this was I don't know if this was a conversation had between the two teams or not, but if you look at the scoreboard, what's something you're noticing happening?
Yeah, continuous clock already.
That continuous clock has started. This is something that typically doesn't happen until the second half. But you wonder, Scott, with it now out of hand, if this was a conversation between the two sidelines of, hey, do you want to start it early? And if they agree, then you will. And you're seeing it right now as that clock is starting to really move. And just like that, Scott, we find ourselves under 2 minutes to go in the second quarter.
But the way things have been going with the touchdowns and so forth, extra points, that's why I went with no flag, because we've seen a lot of them already.
Well, I will take that answer as well. And speaking of answers, Scott, got to make sure you're prepared for Trevor's Tornado Trivia at halftime, brought to you by John Laycamp of State Farm. That will be posted on our social media platforms on 2 Hype Sports. The first one to answer on any of the platforms, doesn't matter which one, will be our winner tonight of our trivia prize pack. And we're certainly excited to give that away to you. We've got a couple different sponsors that decided to join us this year on our team. It's a really cool package. I was able to deliver my first one this week to our week 1 winner. She was super pumped to be able to get that and excited about what all was in. So with a minute 53 and counting in the second quarter, the Tornadoes getting ready. And Scott, I say counting, but now they have stopped it for the kickoff, so they'll get themselves ready. And Kyron Tyson just waiting for permission from the referee to be able to get this Cadunza kickoff off. Taking a look while we're waiting at Thomas Manu's stats. 13 to 14 for 220 yards, 4 passing touchdowns. And Scott, last week had 80% completion percentage. This week so far, 92%.
But you hear that yardage right there. All he basically does drop back, just an easy, looks like a beautiful spiral, and just lays it into the receiver's hands on every one of those catches.
Well, and here's the question too, Scott, because we may have to make a decision because we may see a lot of younger guys come into the second half. I mean, do we go ahead in week 2 and crown potentially Manu as our player of the week? Or do we maybe look at some other guys who made some big-time plays here this week? Mason Lasker making some plays, Jirius Abuhana making some plays. I'd certainly put them at least in the top 5 category of the conversation. But
it's going to be a big decision later on.
Yeah.
But a good kick from Tyson.
Also, one of the predictions I'm still waiting for, but he's on his way, that Coulter Tao gave us in that pregame was he expected Manu to have 250-plus passing yards. He is 30 yards away from at least hitting the 250 mark as he's sitting at 220. So
just didn't know Coulter was going to get it on in the first half. So.
I don't know if he knew that, but I bet you he's sitting there going, all right, give Alcoa one more offensive drive, one more drive with Manu here in the first half. Let's see if I can be just perfect here on my thought process of this game.
And he's going to go back just a little bit, too. They took the clock back, and so where it was a minute 53 there before the kickoff, it is now 2:18.
Do you think that was something where Bearden said, wait a minute, we don't want to do this? And they were,
or maybe they were saying, wait a minute, it's not second half yet.
Yeah, maybe it was an accident. Okay, well, we are corrected now that they fixed it. So 2:18 left to go in the second quarter. Dropping back and looking at Stacker. He had some time, but now he doesn't. It's chasing him is Kenny Harris. He'll throw it down the field, and diving but not able to make the play is Parrott, and it's 2nd and 10.
Yeah, and he put that between 2 Alcoa defenders, and just like you said, not able to come up with it. It was a low throw. Made a diving effort, just not good enough to get it into his hand.
Well, and it was an off-balance throw by Thacker because he had time to set his feet and throw, but then all of a sudden he didn't, as Kenny Harris was bearing down on him and chasing him across the field. So it kind of had to, wasn't able to square his shoulders in time and make a clean throw. Had to just kind of throw that sidearm on the run, and it ends up falling incomplete. So it's now 2nd and 10, 2:09 to go now in the second quarter. 49-6 Tornadoes.
Give you something a little interesting going on here, Heath.
Yeah.
Bearden travels to Maryville, I believe, next week. Maryville, who is defeating or beating West right now down the road, we will see West in 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Scott, next week, get to hit the road, pack our bags, and go to a place that you are super familiar with,
right,
as we'll make our way to Gibbs High School, your alma mater.
That's right. Heath. Just get on Tazewell Pike and go towards the Union County line. You're going to get there.
Yeah, and speaking of the Union County, Scott, they met the Gibbs Eagles last week in a game that did not go too well for Union County. And personally, I got to feel a little bit for Union County. This is the team that really, I wish they could have stayed in 3A to continue to develop and figure things out, but I guess school size said otherwise and forced them to move up into 4A football. They move up and have to stay in the same region as Alcoa. And then they've got some other teams, too, that, you probably know a little bit better than I do, but how much of a rivalry is there between Gibbs and
Oh, that's a big rivalry. That was a rivalry when I was in high school, and I'm not going to say when that was. However,
just a couple of years ago.
yeah, right. Yesterday, that's it.
Okay.
But yeah, we've always had a big rivalry with Union County, and also Gibbs has a big rivalry with over the ridge there, as Gibbs is at Halls tonight as well, and at halftime Gibbs is leading Halls.
So the Eagles could come into next week against the Tornadoes undefeated.
That's right.
To remain unblemished, and so will the Tornadoes. That'll be a fun matchup between those two teams. And Scott, normally when Alcoa has a bye week, we have a chance to go kind of catch up with some old friends and go to your hometown of Gibbs and go see some familiar faces. But it'll look a little different this year when we go, as we'll be wearing maroon and aluminum. Second and
in the
10.
press box.
Yeah, that as well. And Thacker gets blasted as he throws it down the field. It is a little too high for the receiver, who also takes a little bit of a shot from a young defensive back for the Tornadoes, as it looks like Alcoa is starting to sprinkle in some younger guys as well. So that incompletion brings up 3rd and 10 with 2:03 remaining. And Scott, I'm a little nervous for my man Coulter over here, as 3rd and 10, young players already here in the second quarter making their way in. The day may be done for Manu.
Yeah, he might not get all that yardage, but still, Coulter pretty close.
He did a great job. It was certainly a fair prediction. 2:03 to go in the second quarter. As incompletions continuing to stop the clock. 3rd and 10 for Bearden. Shotgun formation. Thacker will now roll to his right, turn and try that screen play we saw earlier today. Caden Stinnett not able to make the tackle. There's a break, and there goes Bearden down the sidelines to the 50, to the 40, to the 30, to the 20, to the 10. Laster trying to catch him. Laster won't get there in time. It looked like he had the angle.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
Trying his best to turn on the Jets, and scoring is the Bearden wide receiver. I think that was Tummins on the play. Trying to tell from over here the number. Was that Tummins? No, that was actually Parrott on the play. Had Stinnett made that tackle, Scott, it would have been a 4th down and a punt. But because of that one missed tackle, it opened up a lane down the sidelines. Parrott took advantage of it, and Bearden scores their 2nd touchdown of the night.
Yeah, and that's what we talked about, Heath. Telling your team, just keep fighting, get some scores, let's work on some stuff, and come out of here with a few positives. And that definitely was one right there for Bearden.
Kick is up, kick is good. And with that now, with 1:46 left to go in the second quarter, it is Alcoa 49, Bearden 13, excuse me.
The PAT was by Sanchez. It was good.
And Scott, go ahead while we're waiting. Give us a few more Hardy scoreboard updates.
All right, Heath, thank you. Taking a look right now, as I mentioned earlier, Gibbs at the half, leading Halls 10-7. Second quarter, almost to halftime, getting close. Maryville leading West 34-0. Kingston tied up with Oliver Springs in the second quarter. Oneida leading Harriman 14-0 in the second quarter. Most of these are second quarter games, Knox Clinton currently leading Fulton 27-0. Pownell still 14-7 over Farragut. Oak Ridge leading Clinton. Clinton trying to get back in there as they're now trailing Oak Ridge 21-6. Knox Carter and Grace Christian tied up 14-all. William Blunt continues to lead Austin East 24-0. And as you know here, Alcoa leading Bearden 49-13.
All right, so that was your Hardy scoreboard update. We'll continue to give you more of those at halftime. But 1:46 left to go in the second quarter, 49-13 Tornadoes. And after Bearden just scored their 2nd score of the game, it's the Tornadoes back waiting to respond. So you've got Cherry, Dean, and DeBose back to receive. This is a low bouncing kick that will end up at the 10, caught by Dean. Dean looking for a hole to turn on the Jets. He'll find a little one. There he goes. Now he's bouncing to the outside, gets past the defender. DeBose trying to get in front of him and lead the way. A good block by DeBose. Dean cutting back, and it's a couple of them that will finally meet him, and it'll be 3 defenders taking him down. at the 44-yard line. And Scott, he had to slow up, and that slow up allowed the rest of that kickoff team to catch back up to him and tackle him. But give some credit there to Dean, number one, being really slippery, great vision to be able to cut that one back to the opposite side of the field, and then to Bose to be able to turn on even more speed and get in front of Dean and catch back up to him, and then lead the way and try to set up a block for him.
Yeah, he just got pushed more to the sideline there, and that kind of took away the room he needed to maneuver a little bit better, but still an excellent run.
So first down for Alcoa. Manu remains in the game. Empty backfield. Let's see if he'll try to air this one out and get a touchdown back on the board. He'll get the snap, turn. He'll throw it outside to Condis Cherry. Condis Cherry's got some blockers. He'll cut up the field in between two of them, and the Bearden players will shed their blockers and make the tackle.
Yeah, Condis trying to look like he thought maybe he could squeeze in between them and then break that, just not able to do so. But just wonder if Alcoa is wanting to answer that touchdown back.
I think they are trying to see if they can answer a score like that quickly, as they'll stay in an empty backfield. It is 2nd and 9, a minute 4 left to go. Manu drops back, turns, throws across the middle of the field, complete to Cooper. Cooper trying to shake, trying to bake, and the defender, though, drops down and grabs him by the ankles, and another defender comes over to assist. It will be a first down. There will also be, Scott, a timeout on the field by the Tornadoes to stop the clock. The Tornadoes are certainly looking not to milk this clock out, but to score.
Even if nothing else, just to get a field goal, just to kind of get Tyson some experience too if they don't get it all the way in. Or not say get Tyson experience, he's got plenty of it, but just to let him, you like to see your field goal kicker be able to get a couple in too as well.
So 54.7 seconds remain here in the second quarter. As the teams have a timeout on the field, Tornadoes talking it over. It's the first timeout of the first half for the Tornadoes. They've got 2 remaining that they'll use if necessary. We'll see what they draw up here, trying to push this ball down the field. They're only 27 yards away from pay dirt. They'll still have plenty of time to try to answer back.
And claim it immediately.
But with that reception, Scott, let's take a look here as he continues to make completions. He is now 15 of 16 for 236 yards, so 14 yards away from 250 and 27 yards to the pay dirt. So I think he's got a great chance here of eclipsing that mark here in a moment. Tornadoes back from the timeout. Shotgun formation. Condis Cherry to the left side of Manu. It's going to be trips to the right. Single receiver Jameer Dean to the left. And before the play gets off, a penalty flag is thrown.
The play whistle dead. Markers on the field.
Did not see the indication. All I saw was that it was against Bearden.
So that
so
penalty,
maybe a legal substitution.
So penalty against the Bulldogs gives the Tornadoes a free foul. And it is an illegal substitution.
It's 1st and 5.
We'll stay in the same formation. Manu drops back, looks to the trip side, looks to throw it down the field. He's got a man. Did he play it perfectly? Yes, he did. It was caught by Jalen Pinson. His second touchdown of the ball game, and the Tornadoes answer right back. And Scott with the throw, we've eclipsed 250.
Oh, and I think I've figured out what we're going to do for the Print FX Farm Bureau Player of the Game, Heath. We're just going to give it to the receiving corps.
I don't blame you. Scott, it was a play, too, that our dear friend Marty Millsaps used to always say the wheel route is always open. And you saw Jalen Pinson with a beautiful route there, cutting to the flats and then cutting it up the sidelines, creating some space between him and defender, and Manu did the rest, putting it in the breadbasket in the end zone for a touchdown. Here comes the extra point. The snap, the kick, and it is good.
The attempt is good.
4 seconds left to go, and Scott, I thought some time ticked off the clock that maybe is not. I thought it was 54.7 with the timeout. So I'm wondering if they'll adjust that clock at all. But it is 56 to 13 Tornadoes now.
Yeah, as Alcoa is just having their way. I think every possession now.
Yeah, they still have not. They still have scored every possession they've had the football. They've yet to be stopped.
And none of those scores are field goals.
They've all been touchdowns.
Kyron Tyson will trot out.
With that latest one from Manu, just taking a look here, that is his 5th passing touchdown of the night. He's making it really difficult, Scott. I don't know if there's any sort of debate at this point. This young man has had himself a ball game, and it's only been in 2 quarters. And this is the type of thing, Scott, that we talk about every year, and it's really early in the season, but something just to remind folks, when you're taking a look later in the year and you start to see those votes for Mr. Football, a lot of times you're going to see tornadoes that don't have the same stats, or maybe the stats aren't quite as impressive comparing them to other players that are in the mix. But a lot of times what people don't realize is most of the time those player stats are through 4 quarters of each ball game, where a lot of times the tornado stats typically are against about a half, and then they get replaced because they built so much of a lead, other guys come in. So if you think about it, man, if this guy played 4 quarters, he put himself 500-600 yards passing.
Oh, yes, definitely. And here goes Tyson again.
So Tyson with the Cadunza kickoff will boot it down the field. This one appears to look like it's going to be in the end zone for a touchback, and it will be. And Scott, they're updating the clock. It's now 49.3 seconds to go. So now catching up a little bit with that clock, is I am almost certain when that timeout was called before that touchdown pass, there was 54.7, and then nothing came off the clock when he threw the touchdown. But now they've moved it to 49.3. And the Bearden Bulldogs will talk it over and come out on offense.
And it looks like they adjusted it
Added
again.
even more, 43.5 now. But if you're Bearden, Scott, I think you either take a knee or you hand it off and you just go to half. Do you try to take another shot again?
Well, keep in mind, too, Heath, this game does not affect Bearden's playoffs.
Right.
Their opportunities for the playoffs and so forth. So why not get a little practice in? You got 43 seconds. Can we get the ball down the field?
Trying another under 2-minute drill for your young quarterback and just seeing what they put together.
Because if you're telling your team we're going to keep fighting, you don't want to just lay down here.
Well, Scott, the clock is now starting to roll. And Thacker will turn. He'll throw it. It's complete. It is caught by number 19, Marquise Moody. And Moody will gain a minimal amount of yardage on the play. I think they're going to give him 2. And then he is tackled.
3, yeah.
And as the clock will start to move, so a 3-yard gain by Moody, the clock will roll. Bearden will take their time in the huddle, and we're going to find ourselves going to halftime. So the clock
they're not
will
gonna be able to get
sound. It off. Yeah, and that will do it for the first half of play, 56-13. Typically what you're going to see is a final score. It's only the first half.
Yes.
But that clock's really going to start to pick up and move in the second half. You're going to see some younger guys. So you don't really know how much more points you'll see on the board. You may see Bearden answer with a couple more because Alcoa is going to start to really bring in, I would imagine, second and third stringers here in the second half to give them an opportunity. And if you're Alcoa, Scott, you kind of like that because, number one, you give your guys a little bit of a rest before you start entering region play next week. Also, you get to do something early in the season that you really like to do, which is get your younger guys in the ball game as many times as you can. The more reps they get, the more they are ready when it's their time to step up the following year and be the guys on Friday nights.
Right, Heath. And for Bearden, really don't want Alcoa being your first game. I mean, that's where they had that game with West, which was a good rivalry between the two. They've been establishing some good games in the last few years. But you didn't get that. You come in and you come to a hostile environment in Alcoa, which the fans are not really hostile. They're great fans here. But, you know, it's still a different environment than what you're used to. But you face a team like Alcoa who right now, you know, offensively is like clicking on all cylinders right there.
Playing a really good game so far, 56-13 your score. But it's halftime here, and we're going to go ahead and go to a break. You're listening to the David Abbey Carpet Game of the Week. We'll be back for the Stevenson Tire Halftime Show here in a moment.
Cheer him on. So close.
Okay, we want to start
Gets another attempt.
with you and Trevor, and then I can come on with Coulter and wrap up the first half. So that way you and Trevor can do scoreboard updates, and then I'll get his halftime stats.
30 seconds.
Outstanding attempt from Liam Henry, Alcoa Middle School
Welcome back in. It's time for the Stevenson Tire Halftime Show on the David Abbey Carpet Game of the Week. I'm Heath Dunkel, and with me now, Coulter Tao, who's been keeping up with our stats throughout the evening. Coulter had a great pregame prediction. And Coulter, I'd say you did pretty well for yourself.
Yep, I appreciate it, Heath. And now for some of the stats for the Alcoa Tornadoes on offense. 365 total yards, 106 of that on the ground, and 259 of that through the air. Thomas Manu, been a key player in this game. 16 completions, 17 attempts, 259 yards, and 6 touchdowns. Jalen Penson receiving-wise, 2 catches for 51 yards and 2 touchdowns. Jameer Dean with 3 catches for 52 yards and a touchdown. Damari DeBose on the ground. He's had a really great game with 5 rushes that went 67 yards and 1 reception for 9 yards. Jirius Abuhana with 2 receptions for 63 yards and 2 touchdowns. And Connis Cherry with 5 rush attempts, 16 yards, 1 reception, and 1 yard, and a rushing touchdown as well. And Jacobe Cooper, 6 catches for 74 yards and a touchdown. For Bearden, they've got 207 total offensive yards. Only 1 of that through the ground and 206 through the air. Aiden Thacker, 12 completions, 19 attempts, 155 yards, and a touchdown. And Paxton Parrott, he's been huge in this game for them. 2 completions, 2 attempts, 51 yards, and a touchdown. Parrott on the receiving side of the ball as well. He has 2 catches for 87 yards and a touchdown. Grant Cross with 2 receptions for 51 yards and a touchdown. Connor Gilbreth with 3 receptions for 42 yards. And Sean Thomas with 2 receptions for 19 yards.
So really, Coulter, the 2 touchdowns scored tonight, courtesy in some form or fashion of Paxton Parrott, has been really a key contributor to this Bearden Bulldog team so far. Got to continue to find ways to get involved, and that's what Bearden's trying their best to do. I thought the sophomore quarterback, Aiden Thacker, played a good first half, just a tough one against a really good Alcoa football team. But to see him only 63% completion percentage, and on the flip side, you take a look at Alcoa and over 90% for Thomas Manu. I don't know, other than 1 less incompletion, I don't know if you could have scripted a better first half for the junior quarterback.
Yeah, Thomas Manu has had a great day today, had a great game last week, and I feel like he's really been able to fill it well in for the senior that left last year in Eli Graff.
Yeah, he has. We were wondering kind of coming in, filling in those shoes, how he was going to respond. Would we see some jitters early on? And really, I thought we saw a touch of jitters, but he was able to settle in pretty quickly into that Maryville football game. And then you see tonight, it's almost like he's been doing this for years, as he was just cool, calm, and collected, making some really good throws down the field. And then, taking a look at Alcoa's different receivers that got involved in the ball game as well. Jalen Pinson, Jirius Abuhana, Jameer Dean, multiple weapons. And that was something we talked about last week, right, as you've got all of these guys that you can throw the ball to. And, man, a wealth of riches. And what a great time to be a quarterback for Alcoa High School when you've got so many playmakers on the field.
Yep, Scott, Alcoa has really been able to dominate today.
Yeah, they really have. So it's been super impressive by the Tornadoes. We're going to see much more in the second half, and imagine we'll start to see Luca Dougherty get an opportunity in quarter number 3. But right now, Coulter, thanks so much. Great job on the statistical work. We are going to take a break here on the Stevenson Tire Halftime Show. When we come back, Scott and Trevor will break down our Hardy scoreboard updates, and also get yourself ready, because pretty soon we're going to get that Trevor's Tornado Trivia. Be back in a moment.
How long? All right, welcome back to the David Abbey Carpets Game of the Week here as we are at the Stevenson Tire Halftime Show. You got Scott Dunkel alongside Trevor Dunkel here, and we are going to give you a little bit of some halftime score updates and let you know what's going on the Hardy scoreboard.
First off, we'll start off with Trevor's Tornado Trivia brought to you by John Lake Camp State Farm. That way some people can answer on social media while I'm giving that scoreboard update. Hey, just make sure to reach out to John Lake Camp State Farm, 423-894-5568. Where I work, you can ask for John or myself, Trevor. At any time, we'll be glad to help you. Let me get it ready for social media so that way everyone can answer. Whoever answers first on either Facebook or Twitter will win a gift prize that Heath has put together. But the question of the week is Alcoa and Bearden have squared off 4 times, spanning all the way back to 1960. What is Alcoa's record against the Bulldogs?
And if you were listening earlier in the game, Heath gave you the answer, so hopefully you were. All right, now we're going to go to the Hardy scoreboard updates.
Yeah, let's hit that off. So last night there were a couple of games. We'll start off in local schools, though. Eagleton hosted McMinn Central last night, and at halftime, Eagleton was down by 12, but stormed back on the back of their quarterback, Noel Meza Flores, who led them to a 25-18 victory against the Chargers of McMinn Central. Also last night, Seymour hosted Pigeon Forge. Seymour soaring to that victory, 17-8. Moving on to probably the game of the week. Everyone wanted to know how Maryville was going to respond after losing to Alcoa last week. And then we didn't get to see West play last week as their game was canceled against Bearden due to weather. Maryville, they're playing like Ohio State did last year when they lost to Michigan. They're leading 41-0 at the half.
Yeah, they've heard the Alcoa score. They're trying to catch up.
William Blount traveled to Austin East tonight. I was talking to Adrian about this a moment ago. William Blount might be the real thing this year. Last week, they dominated their opponent. Tonight, they only allowed 7 points to Austin East, and they're leading 45 at the half.
Yeah, another score of interest, Trevor, that from last night that you didn't cover yet, but for people that love it, go ahead and give it.
I was going to mention that here in a moment. But yes, Catholic traveled to Anderson County last night, winning 28-7 over the Mavericks. We'll knock out a couple more local teams before we move on to region and other area schools. Greenback hosting Cosby tonight. Greenback coming off a loss last week to Tellico Plains. They are leading 7-0 at the half. And a big rivalry going down in Loudon tonight as they host their crosstown rival, Lenoir City.
Always a good battle of the bridge right there.
Oh, yeah. One statistic I saw, Loudon, until this year, Loudon had not lost their first 2 starting games since 2018. Last week they came away with a loss, but tonight they're leading Lenoir City 24-3. Moving on to region, as we mentioned, Catholic defeating Anderson County last night. Heritage traveling to CAK tonight. CAK had went up 14-0. Heritage scored a 98-yard kickoff return and then scored again before the half. So they are tied 14-all at half right now. Gibbs traveling to Halls tonight. I know your ears perk up for that one, Scott. At the half, the Eagles are leading Halls 10-7. Fulton hosting Central tonight. Central going away with that in the second quarter, 27-0. South Doyle leading Carnes 17-7 at the half. Grace Christian and Carter knotted up at halftime, 14-all. Union County trying to bounce back from their loss last week to Gibbs as they travel to Granger County tonight. But that's a close one. Granger leading 14-7 in the second quarter. Clinton, another team that didn't get to play last week. They were supposed to play Heritage, and that game was canceled. They're hosting Oak Ridge tonight. Oak Ridge leading 21-6 in the second quarter. Farragut hosting Powell. Powell, another team that didn't get to play against Anderson County last week. Powell leading that one 14-7 at the half. And then Hardin Valley leading 20-0 against Morristown East at the half right now. And last but most certainly not least, last week, I don't know if you noticed this, Scott, Gary Rankin got his 500.
I saw that. Congratulations to the old ball coach.
Oh, yeah. It was against the Maryland team, St. Vincent. I'm going to slaughter that last name. It was very Italian. But they're hosting Chattanooga Prep tonight. There's no score update on that yet, but hopefully he'll get his 501st career win. But that wraps up that scoreboard. Scott, do you have other scores?
Now, just looking around the area, Kingston and Oliver Springs still tied up at 7 in the second quarter. Also looking at Oneida 14-0 over Harriman at the moment as well. Greenback 7-0 over Cosby at the half. So some good scores going around in the area. The teams are slowly starting to work their way back out. So they're going to start getting loosened up here in just a few minutes. But, yeah, Trevor, you mentioned the William Blount. They played Loudon last week. Loudon, usually a pretty good team, struggling so far this year. But William Blount coming out pretty strong as well.
Well, they struggle against William Blount, but they're leading Winona City tonight. A few touchdowns there. So got to see more of Loudon the rest of the season to see how that plays out. But William Blount scoring at least 40 points in back-to-back games and only giving up 7 combined points. So we'll see.
Exactly. And down the road just a little bit as well, or actually the game's not down the road, the team is, but this is out in Jefferson County as Sevier County, last year's state champions, leading one of their big rivalry games. They are leading Jefferson County 14-0, as that is in the second quarter as well. So the teams are getting loosened up. We're going to take a little bit of a break here, let them get that in, and we're going to get a few in as well. As you're listening to the Stevenson Tire Halftime Show, the David Abbey Carpets Game of the Week, this is Scott Dunkel. We'll be right back here in just a few minutes. All right, welcome back to the David Abbey Carpet Game of the Week as you're listening to the Stevenson Tire Halftime Show. This is Scott Dunkel alongside Trevor Dunkel as the teams are out on the field loosening up, getting ready for the second half. Alcoa leads Bearden here at Alcoa 56-13 for those that are familiar with it, and for those that are not as well. We will more than likely be in the continuous clock phase once this game resumes. Just letting the teams get a little loosened up. Alcoa having their way as Manu is just on fire passing-wise, over 200 yards so far for the young quarterback, and just seems to be like dropping the ball right into the receiver's hands. So, Trevor, what you've seen so far in this, what are your thoughts of what you're seeing?
A very dominant game, obviously, with how you see the score, raw half because it was just score after score after score. Dominant half. You think it would be closer playing Bearden, but they just taken over this game very easily.
Yeah, very good game. Alcoa just having their way right now with Bearden. Bearden getting that one touchdown on a missed tackle. He was able to get down the sideline and race all the way in as Alcoa's already back at their sideline waiting on Bearden to wrap their stuff up on the end zone on the far end there. Alcoa's receivers having a field day right now. The running backs are as well, but the thing that just really stands out is the game Manu is having right now as well. And add one of the touchdowns for Alcoa was a pick six as well. So Bearden hitting the sideline, and they're getting ready as we are getting ready to start the second half of the David Abbey Carpet Game of the Week as we are finishing up now the Stevenson Tower halftime show. So we're getting ready for the kickoff for Alcoa as they are getting ready to start the second half here against Bearden. Again, Alcoa leading the game 56-13. And we're going to see how many of the second string players and other reserves Alcoa is going to be able to get into the game as we get started. Also, Alcoa will be receiving as they did defer at the coin toss, so they're going to be receiving this as well. Do see a lot of younger players already out on the field for the Tornadoes. So Bearden lining up to kick, waiting on the referees to say, get it started, and we will.
Well, Scott, you and Trevor had an opportunity to talk about some of those scoreboard updates at the half. What was a score that maybe really stood out to you more than anything that you've seen so far tonight?
Maryville and West. Just that game was a lot more than what I thought. 41-0 at the half, Maryville.
Wow. Well, and two, you think about that for 2 weeks from now when the Tornadoes have to meet the West Rebels, because I kind of felt like that game would be a barometer that tell us a little bit about what we might see in 2 weeks, and certainly looks like it won't be as competitive as a game as maybe I anticipated.
Yeah, it looks like a little struggling, or at least Maryville just mad about last week.
That could also be it. That's true. So the Tornadoes now will get their opportunity on offense to begin the second half. And, Scott, we called it. Luca Dougherty getting his opportunity now as he's in at quarterback to begin the third quarter. Manu will finish the game 16 of 17 for 259 yards and 5 touchdowns. We've got a couple other stats we'll tell you about here in just a moment for how it went in the first half. But right now, Dougherty gets the snap, turns, fakes the pitch, looks to take it himself, and a penalty flag is thrown. But, Scott, someone else in the ball game as we're waiting for them to call that penalty that I like to see that didn't get an opportunity last week just because of the way the game went. But our running back in the game right now, Jermon Bishop. Big Bishop in the game now, and I love when he gets an opportunity. He's a good running back.
I do. That's why I like calling him the bus.
That's right. And so that penalty will be on the Tornadoes. They'll move in the wrong direction. But a few more Black Horse Pub into quarter stats that we just want to go back over from the first half. Jalen Pinson, 2 receptions, 51 yards and 2 touchdowns. Jacobe Cooper, 6 receptions for 74 and a touchdown. As the Tornadoes now will hand it off up the middle to Bishop. Bishop tries to plow ahead, but that D-line standing up tall and no gain on the play. Jirius Abuhana had 2 receptions for 63 yards and 2 touchdowns in the first half. Jameer Dean, 3 receptions, 52 yards and a touchdown. And Damari DeBose, 5 rushes, 67 yards and 1 reception for 9. So DeBose, a young running back who switched positions this offseason, has a career high at the running back position tonight. Second and long for Alcoa. Bishop behind Dougherty. Dougherty gets the snap, fakes the pitch. He's going to take it himself up the middle. Looking for a hole, lowering his helmet, and pushing himself ahead past the original line of scrimmage, and a couple more after that. It'll be third and about 6.
Yeah, a good 8-yard run from Dougherty Heath as he was able to get a good chunk of what they lost earlier back up, making it third and about 5.
All right, so the Tornadoes break the huddle. Third down. Can they keep the party going? In the first half, the Tornadoes every single possession scored a touchdown. They've now got their backups into the ball game. Can they keep it going? 3rd and 5. Empty backfield for Dougherty. He turns, drops back, throws it. It's caught. And Scott, it would have been a first down. I think Hawkins had the sticks, but he then went backwards trying to slip out of the clutches of the defender and ended up making himself short.
Right, Heath. He had it. All he needed to do was lunge forward. Instead, that's the one thing receivers try to do, and sometimes that's more of a mistake than it is, something because they kind of think, oh, if I jump around, I can kind of come back around. Instead, just drive the ball forward, get the first down. Don't worry about getting all that yardage.
Yeah, just kind of one of those things, too. You continue to learn as a receiver as you get more mature, like situational football. But Scott, even with him going backwards and then getting tackled, they're going to give him a favorable spot, and it'll be a Maryville top shot first down. So a favorable spot for Hawkins. We'll take it. And now Dougherty hands it off to Bishop. Bishop up the middle, picking up speed and falling ahead for a positive gain. It's now going to be 2nd and 4 after the 6-yard gain.
Yeah, Alcoa right now looks like they're just going to, pardon me, it's other than that pass, just going to try to keep the clock going as it is and just use Bishop and just let him power and get him some more playing time, get him used to taking on some more defenders again.
Well, Scott, while Dougherty is in the huddle, go ahead and let folks know the Trevor's Tornado Trivia question at the halftime brought to you by John Lee Camp of State Farm was, Alcoa and Bearden have squared off 4 times, spanning all the way back to 1960. What is Alcoa's record against the Bulldogs? We'll give you that answer and the winner here in just a moment. 2nd and 4. The snap, the handoff. There goes Bishop. Bumbling ahead and picking up what I believe to be is another first down. While they mark that one, Scott, your winner of that answer was Jody Slagle, who said 4-0, and that is correct. The Tornadoes have not lost in the all-time series against the Bearden Bulldogs. They look to make that 5-0 after tonight, and certainly on their way to doing so as continuous clock on the board, 7:33 and counting, and it's 56-13 Alcoa here in the 3rd, and the Tornadoes with the football. And Scott, if the Tornadoes can keep moving it at the kind of chunks they're moving it right now, just a couple yards and a cloud of dust at a time, they might run out this whole quarter on this drive.
Well, they about did that to Maryville last game. Maryville had very few opportunities with the football in the second half.
Dougherty will turn, hand it off. Bishop, though, Scott, went east to west, and he was already a couple yards behind the line of scrimmage because of the shotgun formation, and is kind of one of those things where when you got a big guy like that, it's really not advisable to bounce it outside. You really more want to try to find a hole in the middle and just go. And because he tried to do that, that speed of the Bearden defense didn't let him get anywhere, and he will lose a few. So it's a loss of 3. It's now 2nd and 13.
Well, also you look at Bearden kind of packing the middle in a little bit, expecting him to run up the middle, making him go outside instead. And like you said, they were able to get to him and wrap him up quickly.
2nd and 13 for Alcoa, ball on the 37. Dougherty will get the snap. He'll turn, fake the handoff. He'll now roll out, look down the field. He's got a man. He's going to make the catch. He will. He gets tackled, but what a job holding on to the football.
Carson Murphy.
Number 13, Carson Murphy, a sophomore wide receiver, getting an opportunity. And Scott getting his first reception of the season.
And a good catch as well, and taking a hit like he did as well, hanging onto the football.
Yeah, that's one for the highlight reel for that young man this year, as he'll pick up a Maryville top shot first down. Ball on the 42 for Alcoa now. Clock continuing to tick. We're now under 6 minutes to go here in the 3rd. Hand off to Bishop. Bishop spinning off defenders, breaking another tackle, still going. And man, look at Bishop go. Scott, the bus had a few defenders jump on, and he took them for a ride for a first down for Alcoa.
And about an 18-yard run right there, Heath. And, yeah, that was all power, all Bishop.
.5:16 and counting off the clock here in the 3rd. Tornadoes now finding themselves in the Clean Roofs Tornado red zone. 25 yards away from pay dirt. 5:05 now counting off the clock here in the third quarter. The Tornadoes, as we mentioned, have scored every single drive this ball game, and right now they're looking to keep that streak going. Trips bunch formation to the left, the snap, the fake handoff, and now to the right goes Dougherty. Dougherty cuts it back up the middle. He'll scoot ahead and be tackled near the 20. It'll be second down.
Yeah, quick moves from Dougherty as he started to break it to the right side, saw a little bit of an opening, cut back left, and ended up getting about a good 5 yards.
Yeah, just reading what the defense gave him and then following his right tackle up the field to pick up 5. So a good run by Dougherty, and man, just love seeing this young sophomore quarterback. He did some really good things as a freshman last year when he got his name called, and you continue to see why he's someone that, Scott, if anything did happen, obviously hope it never does, but if something ever happened to your starting quarterback, I think you have a lot of trust in this young man to come in and fill the shoes if needed.
I believe so. He's doing a really good job, and again, too, you have this role as well between him and getting used to the guy that's going to be instrumental with him as well as in the future is
Bishop.
Bishop, exactly.
Yeah, Bishop plows ahead. He'll pick up a first down. So Maryville top shop to first down, and it'll put the ball at the 11-yard line. So the Tornadoes continue to push it down the field. We've got another new running back in the game with 3:30 left to go in the third. A pitch outside to him. He'll scoot it outside, then try to cut between the left tackle and the left guard and push ahead. I think he'll get a few on the carry. He will. It'll be second down, and that is, I think, the freshman, number 28, Blade Burgess, on the carry.
After about a 5-yard gain.
And it will be Blade Burgess.
2nd and 5.
2nd and 5, they'll call it. So a 5-yard gain by the freshman. So now you see another youngster getting his first chance and taste of Friday night football, and his first carry of his high school career goes for 5. 2nd and 5, ball on the 6. Tornadoes can still pick up a first down without scoring, but Luca Dougherty rolls out, throws it deep into the end zone. Caught, is he in? Yes, he is. Tornado touchdown, another Delosier auction touchdown. The streak continues, and that was number 17, Scott. Gregory Stevenson, the sophomore wide receiver, now adds his name to the stat sheet, and a beautiful throw by Dougherty, putting it back into the corner of the end zone. And tonight, Scott, both quarterbacks for Alcoa have laid up some beautiful balls where only the maroon and aluminum players could catch it.
That's right. He just right where the receiver wanted it and needed it and did exactly what he was supposed to do. And the quarterbacks are looking so comfortable at this.
They are. And give some credit to that sophomore wide receiver. He had to go up and make that catch. He made a beautiful catch and a great throw by Dougherty. But also, Scott, as he's coming down with it, he's nearing the sidelines of the out-of-bounds marker of the end zone. He's able to keep those feet and tiptoe in bounds to stay in for the touchdown.
Yeah, and the kick is good from Levi Yanez Cato, as the sophomore kicker for Alcoa, puts it through the uprights.
So Yanez Cato with the extra point up and good. Cato. So they continue the streak. They add more on the board, and 2:37 now remains in the third quarter after a ton of time went off the clock. 63-13. Let's take a quick break. You're listening to 94.3 Jack FM. Welcome back in here to the David Abbey Carpet Game of the Week. The Tornadoes just kicked off the ball. It got returned to the 22, but there is a penalty flag on the play. So the flag is a hold on the return team, the Bulldogs, and they'll put it in reverse. So Bearden continuing to rack up penalties tonight. That's another penalty on the Bulldogs. Just taking a look, that's their 10th penalty of the night. I believe that'll put them at 76 penalty yards, Scott. And I know I'm probably beating a dead horse here talking about this, but not super shocking because you've just got a total revamp. You lost a lot of players. You've got a young squad. These mistakes, as frustrating as they are, they're not certainly surprising. They're something you would expect and something you just have to continue to develop and clean up as these players mature.
Right, and again, you're in your first game, so sometimes you're just going to run into that situation.
2:15 on the clock and counting. It's 1st and 10 for Bearden as they'll start this offensive drive. They'll hand it off. Trying to bounce to the outside is number 13. That is Traje Edwards, the sophomore running back. And, Scott, it's starting to look like now, as Alcoa emptying the bench and letting some young players get some opportunity, I think we're starting to see a couple of young players from Bearden get the same.
Stop made by Luca Doherty.
Yeah, no sense getting any players hurt that is a starter anyway. You want to be careful.
You also see, Scott, even though a reserve and an older veteran quarterback, I believe now in the game, it looks like Logan Carpenter, the senior, is in at quarterback now for the Bulldogs. At least trying to tell, but it does look like it might be number 6. He'll drop back, turn. Now he'll look to run. He'll take off to the 10, to the 15, ahead to the 20, and be brought down. So he'll be just 2 yards away from the first down
Looks
marker.
like we got a cramp too here on the side, or towards the Eagle or Alcoa side, as one of the Bearden players goes to the ground. Peggy running out there to assist.
I thought for a minute there, Scott, you were about to say we were sitting here at Eagleton.
Yeah, I almost said that.
I do have a Hardy scoreboard update for you, though. I'm a couple minutes late to the party here, but Trevor just gave this to us moments ago. A touchdown by the Mountaineers, and they're knotted up with CAK 21-all.
That's going to be a good – that already sounds like a good game.
I'm sure it is. Mountaineers, Scott, looking for their first win of the season because, much like a few other teams last week, their game got canceled due to weather. A no contest with Clinton. That was a game that I think the Mountaineers thought it would be a battle, but they would be able to come out on top. Had some success early in that game, but then weather prevented them from continuing. Frustrating for the Mountaineers because it's one of those things, too, Scott, where they're going to kind of have a tough region. They're in our region. They've got some other really good teams in the region they're going to have to contend with. So even if it's a non-region game, you want to pick up as many wins as you can. Right. You want to continue to give your players opportunity, and you want to try to find some tune some things before you get to region play. And that's one less game you have the opportunity to do so. So they're battling it out tonight with CAK as the Mountaineers trying to pick up their first dub of the season. We'll continue to keep you updated on that one as we progress. But we've got a minute to go here in the third quarter. Bearden with the football, 3rd and 1. Running back to the left in the shotgun formation. They'll send a man now from left to right. They'll drop back, roll to that side, look in the flats, nothing doing. Now try to take a deeper shot, and not a bad play. It's caught and brought down by number 4, Grant Cross. Scott, the DB, kind of waited almost for him to make that catch and then tried to push him and force an incompletion. I think might have been better if he tried to make a play on the football, but instead just tried to see if he could disrupt and make that receiver bobble it.
Yeah, it looked like Dakari Harris on the defensive back there for Alcoa. Looked like you said, he looked a little indecisive whether or not he wanted to try to make a play or just play the receiver instead, which is what he does, and just pushes him out of bounds once he catches it.
Yeah, and allowed him to be able to stay in bounds for the reception and pick up a first down. So now, final play of the third quarter, they'll turn, throw it outside, try to set up a screen to the running back. He makes some moves. It looked like he was going to be stopped at the line of scrimmage, though. He slips past the initial defender. He gets down the field, and he'll pick up roughly, let's see, I think they're going to give him 4. And it'll be, they'll give him 5. It's 2nd and 5. The clock sounds, and that's the end of the third quarter. So at the end of 3, 63-13, a 50-point lead for the Alcoa Tornadoes. You're listening to the David Abbey Carpet Game of the Week. We'll take a break here on 94.3 Jack FM.
When the fourth quarter begins.
Welcome back in on the David Abbey Carpet Game of the Week. 11:22 and counting off the clock in the fourth as they've gone ahead and let the clock start rolling as Bearden's in the huddle. They'll break the huddle, and it's 3rd and 5 to begin the fourth quarter. Can the Bulldogs pick up another first down? They did so a minute ago with a really good pass tiptoeing the sidelines. We'll try it again here. Trips to the right. They'll roll out to that side. And Scott, oh no, fumbled the football. Backwards it goes, and now out of bounds at the 20. Looked like he was trying to make a play, and Scott just kind of lost it behind him as the ball rolled backwards about another 10 yards and rolled out of bounds before anyone could get there.
And I'm waiting to see what that referee's going to call, Hayes, whether or not he's actually going to call intentional grounding or a fumble.
I thought the ball fell out of his hands before his arm went forward. So, yeah, they're going to wave the flag off, and I think that's the right call because I don't think his arm was in the forward motion. He lost it, cocking it back, and then the ball continued the rest of the way following that momentum. And so it went backwards and rolled 10 yards further back and out of bounds. Lucky for him because if that had stayed in play, I think a tornado probably would have scooped it up and scored.
Yeah, if they hadn't run back there and got that, it would have been easy for Alcoa.
So it's not Alcoa's football yet, but it's about to be because that ball went out of bounds and lost even more yardage. It is a 4th and forever for the Bulldogs, and they'll get ready to punt it away. Some Black Horse Pub end of quarter stats we want to give you from the third. Dougherty was 3 of 3 for 28 yards and a touchdown. Haynes Hawkins, 2 receptions for 14. Gregory Stevenson, 1 reception for 11 and a touchdown. Bishop, 5 rushes for 24. And Burgess, 2 rushes for 19. A punt, a high spiral, a beautiful one at that. And the punt returner saw the pressure coming, moved out of the way, and just let that ball take a friendly Bulldog roll. And so it'll be stopped at the 49. But, Scott, here's a question for you. A little more just in fun. But, you know, I know we were talking about the completion percentage of Manu tonight, over 90%, but Dougherty right now, 100% completion percentage. You know, maybe another person for the player of the game tonight.
So I'd like to know what the combined percentage is.
I would say
it's got to be outstanding.
It's probably like 96 or 97% because I think that would make it probably 19 of 23 or something, or 19 of 20 or something like that. We'll have to see what Coulter would tell us of that combined stat. Let's try and take a look back here. So it would have been, look at me, 19 of 20 on the money, 96%. Very impressive night for those two. First and 10 for the Tornadoes. Trips bunch formation to the right, a handoff up the middle, and there goes the man, Bishop. Bishop bulldozing ahead for a gain of 3. It'll be 2nd and 7.
Yeah, and he's a good clock eater time-wise. You know, he just keeps taking that time off the clock.
All right, you give it to him 3 times in a row, he's going to get you a first down.
Yeah, and probably about 5 minutes or about 3 or 4 minutes into doing it so as well. So he helps take care of that clock for you.
Such a great weapon to have. You need a big bulldozer, and you just bring that guy in, and he's going to get some yardage for you. And just even if it's a couple at a time, he's going to get it. And he's a really good football player who's just continued to develop over the last few years. Hard to believe he's already a junior, but so fun to watch him in the ball game. Now we've got the freshman, I believe that's Burgess, back on the field, and a handoff up the middle. But Scott, he had a hole, but somehow a defender got a paw and threw him down, and that is actually not Burgess, excuse me. First carry tonight for Brody King, number 26, getting a chance in the game. And he saw some daylight, and you had to imagine his eyes were bug-eyed wide open, excited about the opportunity to run through that lane. But a good job by number 1 of Bearden. That was Liam Powers, the senior linebacker, who got a paw over and threw him down. So no gain on the play. It's 3rd and 7. 7:40 counting off the clock here in the fourth. 63-13 Tornadoes. Tornadoes have scored on every drive. I know you're probably tired of us saying it, but they just keep doing it, and they're doing a really good job at that. Shotgun formation, running back to the right side of Dougherty. He'll roll out to that side, throw it out, and caught by King. King makes a move. King makes another spin move off a defender, and he gets hit. But the linebacker carries him forward for a Maryville top shot first down.
Yeah, that's what I was watching as well. The linebacker just pushed him across the first down marker.
Yeah, give him a little bit of an assist on the stat sheet. 1st and 10 for the Tornadoes. Ball on the 37. Under 7 minutes to play now. Alcoa rotating some young linemen in is number 67. Elijah Carter, the senior, makes his way off the field. Certainly seen some new freshmen on the field. Number 56, Noah Carnegie, one of the freshmen getting a chance tonight. Good to see him out there. They'll turn, they'll hand it off. There goes the freshman running back, and this time Scott got a little bit more daylight, got a couple on the carry. Good run by Brody King. And so now Scott, when you take a look at his stat sheet, he's got some positive yards on it. So two rushes, 2 yards total.
Positive's always good, Heath.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what you do. Just get your name on the stat sheet and start building from there. So
yeah, just don't make sure it's not negative reason.
Well, I mean, fair, but we try to be pretty positive, I'd say, on here.
Oh, yes.
Let's be positive on the call. Let's get positive yardage on the field. Just keep the positivity all around.
And I'm positive we're keeping the clock running.
That's also true. 2nd and 8. 5:50 and counting off the clock here in the 4th. Trips bunch formation to the left, single receiver out to the right for Dougherty. Turn, hand off. There he goes. Got a little bit more speed to him. Cut to the outside, got hit, but tried to spin off of him and take him forward. Got down at the 30. It'll be 3rd down now, but another good run by the freshman.
Yeah, Logan Lamont, the senior linebacker for the Bulldogs, just waiting on him, but not before he could get about 4 to 5 yards on that carry as well.
So now King will make his way out of the game. They'll continue to rotate players into the ball game. It looks like they're going to bring back in another freshman, Blade Burgess, into the game. Burgess kind of almost has a little bit of the Bishop build. He's got a little bit more muscle and size to him. You got King, who's got a little bit more flash, a little bit more dazzle, and a little bit smaller of a running back, almost a little bit more Damari DeBose-esque. And now you bring in Burgess, who's got more of that bulldozer build. And so with that, they're going to let him try to get that yardage. But Scott really got stopped before he got started as he tried to go to the right side and cut it outside. And we talk about this with some of these bigger guys that are more bulldozers than they are speedsters. And because he tried to cut it out, the defense broke through the line before he really could get any sort of speed going, and forces a 4th down.
Yeah, it does, Heath. But I'll give him some good points right there as well. It looked like they had him wrapped up. He was able to get his head lowered and at least get about a yard or so back on them.
So it's going to be 4th down, and let's see here. Dougherty's still in the game. Is he going to try to pooch kick it down the field? Or are they going to let him just, hey, let's go for it and just see what happens? So it looks like they're going to go for it. Shotgun formation. Trips to the left, single receiver to the right. The snap to Dougherty. He'll turn, pitch it outside, and breaks one tackle. Can he break another? He's not going to get the 1st down, but a heck of an effort that time by Burgess. Burgess will gain 2 yards on the play, and it'll now be Bearden football. So for the first time tonight, the Tornadoes don't score on an offensive drive.
Yeah, it looked a little like Dougherty was a little slow in getting that pitch out to him. Running back had to wait as he did. The linebacker came up, just about had the tackle, but slowed him down enough to allow the other players to catch up.
I was almost hoping for maybe a fake pitch and then trying to throw it to like a tight end behind the secondary. But, Scott, we've got a timeout on the field with an injury. Let's take it with them. The David Abbey Carpet Game of the Week here on 94.3 Jack FM.
Cramp. Ooh.
It'll be Bulldog ball from their own 30.
Welcome back in on the first play for the Bearden drive. Trajay Edwards went in the wrong direction as a good Pressure by the defensive line for the Tornadoes forced him backwards for a loss of 1. It's now 2nd and 11, and Bearden Bulldogs in the huddle right now trying to see what they can come up with as they're just trying to build off that and continue to develop as a young squad with under 3 minutes now left to go. 63-13, your score, a 50-point lead for the Tornadoes as both teams now have their reserves in, just getting them some action. Snap for Carpenter, turns, drops back, throws a deep one down the field. That one is going to be caught, and a good stop, letting the player run past him was Tamir Harris. But Scott, as he stopped, he kind of tried to make a juke move, and that left foot touched out of bounds.
Yeah, I was going to say, he didn't realize just how close he was to that sideline there. Made a good move, as you mentioned, Heath, but again, you got to watch where that foot goes.
Well, also, as the DB, Dakari Harris had the coverage, just got to get that head turned around, too. Head on a swivel, looking for that football. Because he wasn't finding the football, it allowed that pass to be complete. Had he got his head around, he might have been able to make a play on it because it wasn't like he had beat the DB. He just put it behind him where the receiver just turned around and got it. So it's now under 2 minutes to go, as more than likely this is going to be the final drive of the game as this clock continues to tick as we're in mercy roll. It's got 1:50 left. There's the snap. Carpenter will turn to hand it off. And in the backfield, making a slam to the turf for the Tornadoes. That is number 65 on the tackle, Grady Knight, a sophomore defensive lineman.
Handoff goes to Cannon's side.
Yeah, he was back there fast.
He was. He got through that line quick as they were handing the football off and made the play.
So it looks like about second down and 16, 15 maybe, but almost a minute left in the game.
Well, and Bearden too, Scott, seeming like they're starting to kind of slow down as they see where this clock sits. 1:10 now left to go. 2nd and 16. Carpenter perusing the defense and making the call. He'll turn, roll out to the left, try to chuck it down the field. He's got a deep ball. He's got a man. And just,
right through his hands.
You hate that for that young man who had a catch already a moment ago on this drive. But, Scott, he kind of waited for it, and I think he heard the footsteps of a defender starting to sneak up close to him.
Two of them. He had two guys coming on him.
Just went right through his hands for an incompletion. That would have put Bearden near probably, the 15 or 10. And set them up for potentially trying to score one more time. But now, Scott, the clock now under the play clock, so has an opportunity to just let this one continue to tick. And I think we're going to take this one to the house.
Yeah, Bearden trying to get one more play in, but they're already under 15 seconds.
Yeah, a minute ago it looked like they were just content letting this clock run out, but now the quarterback hustles to the huddle, breaks the huddle, and like you said, I guess they're going to try one more time.
If they can get
5 seconds left to go. He's trying to hurry. 3 seconds left to go. He'll get it off. He'll turn. He'll throw it. Incomplete. Clock will roll. Buzzer will sound. And that will do it. Your final score, Alcoa 63, Bearden 13. A huge win for the Alcoa Tornadoes, who moved to 2-0 for the season. What a victory for them. And for Alcoa, as they continue to dominate 6A football, and in next week, Scott, they'll get to region play.
So they can go from 6A to 4A, Heath.
They will. They'll now move down and play a 4A opponent as they'll travel to Gibbs High School. We'll talk more about that, but a nice win from Alcoa, Scott. Just give me a few of your thoughts real quick, and then we'll take it to a break.
This one was just like almost tailor-made for Alcoa after the Maryville game. And Manu and even Dougherty both just putting the ball where they wanted to, just dropping it in for the receivers. A few of the Bearden players here that are on Alcoa's team now getting opportunities as well. Given the good example there earlier was Mason Laster, as he got an interception and a pick six earlier in the game. But this is a good game for Alcoa. Bearden probably not so much, as they were not able to play against West last week, and this was their first game. Quite a few things it looks like I'm sure their coaching staff is going to want to work on. A lot of penalties that they probably really didn't need. Alcoa was able to draw them off sides quite a few times during the game. But for Alcoa itself, just a outstanding game. Got a lot of players in the second half, getting some extra experience for them as well. So while they're huddling up for a second, we are going to go ahead and before Coulter comes on, we're going to go ahead and just take a break here for a minute. You're listening to the David Abbey Carpets Game of the Week. Let's take a break. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back to the David Abbey Carpets Game of the Week. As you see, or saw, should I say, Alcoa defeat Bearden 63-13. Right now I'm joined by Coulter Tao as he is going to catch us up on some statistics from the game tonight. Let us know how everyone did.
So Alcoa's got 469 total yards of offense, 174 of that through the ground and 295 through the air. Thomas Manu, 16 completions, 17 yards for 259 yards and 6 touchdowns. Luca Doherty, 4 completions, 4 attempts, 36 yards and a touchdown. Jalen Penson had an amazing game, 2 receptions, 51 yards and 2 touchdowns. Jameer Dean, 3 receptions, 52 yards and a touchdown. Damari DeBose, 5 rushes, 67 attempts, 1 reception and 9 yards. Jirius Abuhana, 2 receptions for 63 yards and 2 touchdowns. Jacobe Cooper with 6 receptions for 74 yards and a touchdown. Moving over to the Bearden side of the ball, 248 yards total of offense, -8 rush yards and 256 passing yards. Aiden Thacker with 12 completions, 19 attempts, 155 yards and a touchdown. Logan Carpenter with 4 completions, 7 attempts, and 50 yards. And Paxton Parrott, 2 completions, 2 attempts, and 51 yards, and a touchdown. Paxton Parrott also had 2 receptions for 87 yards and a touchdown. Grant Cross with 3 receptions for 64 yards and a touchdown. And Connor Gilbreth with 3 receptions for 42 yards. And Sean Thomas with 2 receptions for 19 yards. And Davon Minard with 1 reception for 32 yards.
All right, good job. Good job, Coulter. Well, we got Heath downstairs. Looks like we are about ready for him with the Print FX and Farm Bureau Player of the Game.
All right, thank you, Scott. Woo, a little loud there. I'm here on the field with Thomas Manu, our player of the game tonight. Had a brilliant performance, 16 of 17, 259 yards passing, and 6 touchdowns. This man, 94% completion percentage. Manu, I said to you a moment ago, you were 1 completion away from perfection. What a night. Talk to me about what you were seeing out there.
I mean, we just saw that Bearden, they were filling the box, so, we just had to throw the ball out in space and give our guys a chance to make a play.
Well, make plays they did. I mean, it certainly has to feel good as a quarterback when you don't have 1, you don't have 2, you don't have 3. You have multiple weapons that you can go to. The running game, we've got a plethora of running backs in the backfield, but you've got so many weapons on the outside. Jalen Pinson back there watching us had a big-time game tonight. Jirius Abuhana, Jameer Dean. We could go on forever. 6 to 7, if not more, players. But, man, what a night. Tell me about it, just what it feels like as a quarterback to have that many guys at your disposal.
I mean, it feels great to have that many receivers that you could just trust, let them make a play, and, you just got to give them the ball.
Well, and so something else I want to talk about, too, and a little bit of a rewind, if you will, but, I look back at last week. What a win for you. What a game for Alcoa. it felt like early in the game kind of figuring some things out, but as the new quarterback stepping in, filling in the shoes, you got comfortable pretty quick. And then it felt like this week, man, it was just second half. You got even more comfortable. You had a really good night. It feels like everything, you're just kind of seeing the field very well right now. Talk to me about that comfortability, and what do you think really helped you to get so comfortable so quick this season?
I mean, I really trust my O-line. You know, they keep me protected. They're the reason why I'm back there and I have time to throw the ball. And, I just really have a relaxed mind when I'm back there.
Well, and now, Manu, the next step is moving to region play as we start our new region in 4A football next week, going on the road to Gibbs. What was Coach Nick saying about now taking that step in 4A football and proving that we belong and that we're at the cream of the crop and at the top?
We just got to stay competitive and be aggressive, keep playing how we've been playing.
All right, well, great words, wise words from this young man and his head coach, and what a night he had. Again, perfection, and our Print FX and also Farm Bureau Player of the Week. He's going to get one of these plaques. We're going to picture with him in a moment, and then you're going to get one later this week with your name engraved on it. Congratulations, Manu, and I'll take it back up to you, Scott.
All right, Heath, thank you very much. Pardon me there. All right, what a game for Manu as well as the rest of the Alcoa Tornadoes. Again, Alcoa defeating Bearden 63-13. We bring in Trevor on the headset now, and he's going to update us not only on the scoreboard, but also of the winner of the Trevor's Tornado Trivia earlier.
Thank you. Yeah, so Trevor's Tornado Trivia brought to you by John Lakamp of State Farm. So before tonight, Alcoa and Bearden had squared off 4 times, spanning all the way back to 1960. What was Alcoa's record versus the Bulldogs? The answer was 4-0. Obviously now 5-0. Winner was Jody Slagle for that, so shout out Jody. So going to the Hardy scoreboard update, like I mentioned earlier, last night McMinn Central traveled to Eagleton to take on the Chargers. Eagleton coming away with that win 25-18. Next week, Eagleton hosts Providence Academy. Also last night, Seymour hosted Pigeon Forge, winning 17-8. Seymour traveling to Cott County next week. And then the game of the week was Maryville and West. We all thought that game was going to be a lot closer than it was. But at half, Maryville was up 41-0. They end up scoring on a last-minute touchdown to end the game. West also got on the scoreboard as well. So the end of the game is 48-7. That just ended about a minute ago. And then Maryville will be playing at Bearden next week. So good luck to Bearden having to play Alcoa, then Maryville back-to-back. Austin East hosting William Blount tonight. William Blount ran away with that one 59-20. William Blount would be hosting Clinton High School next week. Greenback hosting Cosby tonight. Cosby leading that one 12-7 in the fourth, so still a close game. Maybe Greenback can come back and hopefully get their first win of the season. They do host Midway High School next week. And then Loudon winning the rivalry game between Lenoir City and Loudon, getting their first win of the season, 46-10. Loudon traveling to Kingston next week, and Lenoir City hosting Oak Ridge. Moving over to our region matchups. Last night, Anderson County hosted Catholic. Catholic coming away with that one 28-7. Anderson County will travel to Fulton to host Fulton next week to start their region play. And then Heritage and CAK going back and forth in that game. Heritage up, last time I checked, 28-21. We'll check to see if that's changed at all, but that is in the fourth. Heritage going to hosting South Doyle next week to start their region play as well. Gibbs traveling to Halls tonight. That game is tied right now, 21 all in the fourth. So we'll keep an eye on that as well. Gibbs having to come here and face Alcoa next week. Fulton hosting...
No, Alcoa going to Gibbs next week.
Yes, you're right. Fulton hosting Central tonight. Central going away with that one 27-6 in the third. Fulton traveling to Anderson County next week. And then South Doyle leading Carnes by a field goal right now in the third quarter, 24-21. And Carter hosting Grace Christian right now. Grace Christian just scored a moment ago, so they're leading 21-14 in the fourth. And then Union County looking to get to their second loss of the season as they lost to Gibbs last week. And they're losing to Granger right now, 29-7 at the half. And a couple more area schools we'll go over as well. Oak Ridge leading Clinton 28-13 in the third. Powell leading Farragut 20-14 in the fourth. Hardin Valley coming away with a game against Morristown East 22-0 at half. And then still no update on Boyd Buchanan and Chattanooga Prep, looking to see if Gary Rankin can add to that 500th win that he got last week.
All right, very good. Thank you very much, Trevor, on the Hardy scoreboard update. Just in case you did not miss it or missed it earlier, Jody Slagle, the winner of Trevor's Tornado Trivia, and we're joined now by Heath as he just comes back up from his interview down on the field.
Yeah, and Scott, a final Trevor's got for us here from the Mountaineers.
Heritage coming away with a victory 28-21 at CAK. It is final now.
All right, so the Mountaineers pick up win number 1 of the season. And Scott, appreciate you guys going in depth there with the scoreboard. Gave me a minute after sprinting up here to catch my breath. Had a great interview on the field with Thomas Manu. What a fantastic job he did. And very impressed with that young man. And he just talked about, and you got to love it, giving credit to his offensive line, talking about how comfortable he feels because of them and knowing he's got some time to really make those decisions.
Yeah, exactly, Heath. As a quarterback like that you are confident in the fact that you're going to have time to make that throw because that offensive line is going to protect you, makes you very appreciative. And he was relaxed, and his throws were on target.
They were on target, and he was so close, as I told him, to perfection. One completion away from being 17 for 17. An excellent night, a brilliant performance, eclipsed the 250 mark, and had 6 touchdowns. I mean, again, as I told you earlier in the game, that was only in the first half. If that young man had played 4 full quarters with his first-team offense, he probably would have eclipsed 5 to 6. But what a game he had. Very impressed with him, and I just love watching Manu really play his game. I think that was the most important thing going into this season is when a lot of times when a quarterback has big shoes to fill, do they try to overdo it or try to do a little bit too much because they're trying to fill these big shoes in this void that they feel like they have to fill, when in reality the slate's clean and you just got to play your brand of football that makes you unique and makes you a good quarterback and that has given you this opportunity. Because at the end of the day, if the coaches didn't trust him, he wouldn't have been given the opportunity. And so there's something about his game that they felt he was the right guy to take over.
Right, exactly, Heath. As you look at the fact, too, of who's he replacing but a great quarterback in Eli Graff, in the way Eli controlled the offense. Eli, a good teacher in helping Manu get ready for this season as well. And Manu just picking up right where Eli left off. Certainly
did. But, Scott, we're going to take one more break, and then we'll be back to wrap this thing up on the David Abbey Carpet Game of the Week on 94.3 Jack FM. Did y'all not take any breaks while I was down there? Whew. I got my calorie burn in for my Taco Bell later after that run. Bye, bud. No, I'm good. Thanks, guys. Oh, okay. Sounds good. I'll be there.